They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with
Must reign.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to another session, another debate, another live stream, or podcast here on the Chaos Reign Show. I am Chaos Reign. The links to follow me are in the description below. You can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Reign 7. You can add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Reign on Facebook. You can also join my Discord service. What else? Oh, follow me on Rumble, CRain23 on Rumble. And last but not least, become a member of the Chaos Reign Show as well. So today, another Andrew debate. And you know what I've noticed? Where Andrew steps up and comes on stage to deliver the ultimate slap down, pimp slap on these nice, lovely ladies. He does with grace, honor, and so gentlemanlike in a way to slap the logic into a lot of these women that are 18 up, that have taken and studied a lot of feminist theories, rhetoric, and wholly believe that by default they are better than men. Andrew, to the person that is stepping up to the plate in this debate, he is battling against the one they call, and I think they says she is a prophet, a female prophet, by the name of Mahleej Sarkari. Now, I took a brief look at this lady. Didn't do too much digging. I don't think there's much digging need for certain individuals. Let me see. I had her earlier. Give me a second, guys. I gotta find her before I start. Okay. It seems to me this woman, from a short little background from her social media, and she has many links and some backup links, but it seems for her profile, she goes by a flirty Miss Pakistani, a single mother. She speaks her mind, and that's pretty much it. So it looks like she's another, I guess we can call a label a feminist. A woman from the Middle East, Pakistan especially. And it looks like she resides in the great country of Canada. How ironic. A lot of Indians and Asian people in Canada. I wonder. Anyhow, yeah, I don't want to hear my rant. Let's begin with the video ahead. And this is hosted by the one by the name of Dr. Kunz. I think I pronounced the man's name right. Let's check if I said the man's name right. Yes, Dr. Kunz. Very good debate. Wonderful platform. You'll see for yourself once you see the breakdown or my takes. No further ado, let us begin with this stream. Enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. You have a comment or a question, as questions are more read through super chats, but if it is something that you want to express, please be concise, clear, and please like the stream as you come into the stream. As people come in, hit the like button. Likes are free. I'll look at periodic time. Let's begin.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of things up here, but I'm going to start by saying that so his whole argument was like, oh my God, this woman opened up by calling me these names. And here he is because I'm a women's rights activist. I didn't even call myself feminism because calling yourself feminist.
You did call yourself a feminist.
So taboo now.
You did call yourself a feminist.
No. I've always called myself a women's rights activist. Okay. Secondly,
you said I believe in feminism.
That is actually feminism, sweetie. If you're a woman's right activist, you are falling in the realm of feminism. Sorry to say, but that's what it is. Let's continue. And like I said before, for those that have opposition or think Andrew is a piece of crap, or you think the woman is right, express it in the chat room. Let's continue.
That was your quote. You literally said, I believe in
think
feminism.
that the women's right activism came kind of from feminism, but it's just, there are certain things I wouldn't agree with, the new wave, or you can call it, but whatever. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say, the system that you want to bring here, I've already lived it, right? So I already lived it, and
Oh,
I'm
great.
now in a better system.
What system?
So
Wait,
where
I'm
the
sorry.
white
Stop.
person comes in.
What system am I advocating that you've lived? Am I advocating that women be in burqas? Am I advocating that women have to
You
go to
want them
church 3
stay
times a
at
day?
home. You want them to stay at home, submit to their husband. What does Islam say?
Oh my
Same thing.
God, that's terrible. That's terrible. Is your criticism of Islam
Listen,
that
please
women have to
ask-
respect their men?
Tell me what does submit means. What does submit means?
Submission, it means that it means basically obedience to your husband.
Why? Why?
Why what?
Who do you have to obey? Like I can understand disciplining my child because it's like, you know, it's a child.
You have to obey your child?
Develop. Why do I have to obey a man just because he's a man? Like I'm a grown adult.
You don't.
Why-
You don't
why
have to
can't
get.
I make
You
my own
don't.
decision?
You don't have to
don't
get
think I'm
married.
capable?
Yeah, you don't
don't
have
think
to
I'm
get married. And here's the thing: if you
I
don't
know.
want to obey a man, don't get married. That's fine. Who's
know
telling
I
you?
don't
Who's
have
telling you to get married? Nobody's telling you to get married.
But who said we want to get married? Like you guys are the ones that think that we want to get married.
That's because every poll we have shows that women, especially in their 30s and 40s, really want to get married.
Who?
Who
Where?
what? From
You
you
can
look it up on
let me tell
you can look it up on Pew Research.
You know, maybe to you, Miss Sakara, maybe inspiration is not to be a wife. We all get it. We could fall for your energy that you don't want to be a wife. But who say that other women that's 30 and up does not desire to become someone's wife? Because let's be honest, most modern women today, if they're, and I'm going to use the soundbite, been on the what we call carousel, and they've been on the carousel for 18 to roughly 30, what has happened is now they're in a stage now in life where they've been passing around, been what we call pump and then eventually sent off their way. And then once they get too old, they now say, I'm ready to get married. Get the F out of here. Let's continue.
Right now, what do you mean?
Pakistan, there was a study that was done that there's so many women. I think there's about like 35.
You say Pakistan, right? And you're a Pakistani woman? The reason why you think like that is because you've been westernized, sweetie. Let's continue.
To 45% of women that are over the age of 35 that are not married. Even in a regressive Islamic society, women are saying, no, we don't want to get married and submit to a husband with no divorce and tie up to the kids. Like,
Nobody said.
not-
And it makes one why they think like that, because they've been westernized, they've been toxified, they've been affected by this so-called feminist rhetoric here in the West we call America, and it has plagued and spread throughout the Western and Eastern world. That's why they get to a certain point in life, especially those that are under age 30, don't think or desire to become wives. How ironic. And as you know, guys, I'm just giving my take on this because this is somewhat important. You'll hear from yourself more as they go in their debates, and you're going to see the foolishness this woman's talking about. Let's go.
Okay, do you understand?
you're saying.
Do you understand that when you say that I'm taking some Islamic position on society, that you're straw manning my
What?
position? Stop. That you're straw manning my position on society. That's not what I said. And I knew that you would do the whole, oh, he wants to be like the Taliban. It's like, it's such a straw man bullshit argument. I
That's
just
what
gave
Islam
you
communicates.
good empirical evidence and data showing that how women and them having the right to vote has led to societal decadence and desiccation and
No,
corrosion. And
no,
I'll
no,
give
that's
you,
because you keep
okay,
blaming us.
let me
No,
ask you right now.
You keep blaming women for everything.
Mhm.
Oh, the transgender. Oh, this problem, that problem. Aren't there men in the politics? What about the
I'm
men?
sorry.
Why aren't
I'm sorry, which gender overwhelmingly votes for it? Which gender overwhelmingly votes Democrat, man or woman?
I don't care, men or women. Isn't there
Yeah,
men?
can you answer my
Isn't
question,
there
please? Can
men?
you answer my question, please? Can you answer my question, please?
Women, Even if it is
Mhm.
women, what about the men? Why?
What about
why-
them? What about the men though?
And I will tell you why.
Okay.
I will
Yeah.
tell you why more
Can't wait.
women are going to vote for conservative. Because your religion is a part of the whole conservative thing. And religion doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter Islam, doesn't matter any freaking religion, especially the Abrahamic religions, give no rights to women. That's why we don't have religion and state. Till we had religion in the state, women had no right. That's why Pakistan has no right, because they cannot separate religion and state. This is exactly, I've lived what you want to go
No, you
back
haven't lived what I want to go back to.
Societies don't work
Early,
that way.
listen, the early United States was
right.
nothing like modern Pakistan. You're lying through your
Hold on.
teeth.
All right. We do have
Would you
to-
stop?
I
Yeah,
do
would you
wanna make
stop
sure that-
shrilly
hold on one
spurging
second.
femoid
I
and
do-
just
hold
listen
on.
for 2 seconds?
Andrew, hold on. I do have to just restore a little bit of order. And
Mhm.
we'll break it into 30 seconds or so. So 30 seconds back and forth for each of you to make your points or ask your questions. Mahleej, the floor is yours for 30 seconds. I've got the timer set.
Okay, my whole point is that whatever you're saying, and you want to go back to women being at home, women being the duty, submitting, all this, women not having any right to property, no right to anything. We have countries like this. And I know how women feel up there. You know, my whole point is it doesn't matter what religion you're coming from, and you're a conservative, and you bring God and everything into it, automatically my rights are taken right away. You can't compare gun rights to me. I'm a human being. Before I'm a woman, you men have to understand that I'm a human being. If you're allowed to vote, why am I not allowed to vote? Just why? Why? Because you have a privilege, because you're born with certain genitalia. Thank you.
That was 30 seconds. We'll kick it over to Andrew.
Yes, sweetie. You do have the right to vote. Yes, you do. But here's the giver. Men gave you the right and privilege to vote. And since you're in Canada, the law is different from America, which I'm going to look up now in regards to right to vote in Canada. So I'm gonna let this go on. I'm gonna look at the laws between America and America in regards to women's voting rights. Let's go.
Okay, so again, early America didn't look anything like modern Islamic Pakistan. You liar. You're lying through your teeth. Look nothing like it. That's one. Women weren't required to have burqas. They weren't required to go drag their feet at church 3 times a day. They weren't required to be accompanied by a man when they walk down the road. That is completely false. All of that is false. That's one. The second thing is, when you dive into this, all we have to do is look at the outcomes. They've been pretty terrible. You say, why is it that men should have the right to vote and not women? First of all, rights are fictitious. They don't exist absent your mind. The only rights you have are the ones men give you anyway. You know how I know that? Because I can point at your country of Pakistan, and if they say you ain't got no rights, lady, you
And
can't do shit about it.
time.
Can you
30
do anything
seconds.
about it?
We do have
Can
to kick it over
Pakistani
to
women do shit
Mahleej.
about it except
We do
appeal
have
to
kick
other
it over.
men
We have to
to
keep
go?
it fair. We gave
Can I
30
ask
seconds
the
to
question,
Mahleej.
James? I got to ask the question. Can
You have to do it
Pakistani women go appeal to anybody other than men for their rights in Pakistan? No.
Mahleej, floor is yours.
And that's exactly what my point is. The monopoly has always been there. It's always been the control. And the only thing men can get on us is the physical control.
That's all we need.
See, don't interrupt me. It's because they're
Don't interrupt me, please.
obviously stronger than us. So that's how they're going to control us. Right? But then again, I'm going to have to ask you, like, is that moral? Because you're, the man of God. Is that moral what they're doing to women up there? Is it moral for them to be doing that? For their religion, it is. But is it moral for you? Okay, then you went back like 100 years ago. Wasn't it 100 years ago? We were burning women here as witches?
No,
Like,
we
where is
weren't. You're lying again.
No,
We
we
didn't
were
burn-
burning
And then 30
women as
seconds.
witches up here. They did not
And
have
we-
rights.
That's an interesting statement, Miss. I mispronounced this chick's name. Sarkari. Did America burn witches from the stake in America? That's a good assessment. I'll look that up as well. Let's continue.
You're
They did not
at
have
30
property.
seconds.
Thank you. And please don't interrupt me when I'm talking.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, 100 years ago, lady, we were not burning women as witches. I don't know. How long do you think 100 years ago was? 100 years ago, it was 1925, right? Do you think we were burning women as witches in 1925, you ignoramus? On top of that, as we decode all of your crazy ass nonsense, you say women have some ought to vote. What is that ought? There is no ought there. You just say, if you can, we should be able to. That's not a reason, though. Just saying we should because I want to is not a reason. If women generally make terrible decisions in the voting booth on behalf of society, you tell me why I should let you vote if we have the
Time.
power to make it so you can't.
Mahleej?
You know what? I do agree with you. We do make terrible decisions. All these alpha men, I don't know how their mothers made the decision to have them. I swear to God, that was a terrible decision to have them, because now we have to sit here and listen to them, what is good for us and what is not. Like, I'm going to repeat myself.
Damn, this woman doesn't like men. How her tone is to these alpha men, this, that. Jeez, she look like, I hope she got no sons. Has anybody in the chat room know if this woman got any sons? Because they said she is a single mother. Does she have male sons? Can anybody tell me if this woman got male sons? Because I don't know. It's my first time doing an analysis and a reaction to this. Can anybody put in the chat room? All right, let's keep going.
In Pakistan, and there is women up there, the women's right has increased. It has gotten a lot better than it was before. Same thing with your religion. You guys reformed. Okay, maybe it wasn't 100 ago, but back in the days, you were burning women as, like, don't lie to me that you didn't burn as witches, right?
You're talking about Europe. That was a European
Hold
thing.
on,
lady.
30
Don't
seconds.
interrupt me.
Good Lord.
Oh, hold on one sec. Mahleej, you're on mute. If you're able to, we'll give you about 10 seconds to wrap up your question, Mahleej, if you wanted to ask.
No, I just want to know what society, if we were to start now, what society is good for you? What should women do just to please you men? So you men think the society will work better. What is your utopia? Thank you.
Yeah, so it's not a utopia. No one's saying it's a utopia. What we're asking for here is some type of limit on voting that makes sense. It wouldn't just be against women. Also, men at the founding of our nation couldn't vote equally with other men because they didn't have stake in the system. There's no good reason to give everybody stake in the system. It's an absurd position. On top of that, when you're talking about witches getting burned, you conveniently omit that male witches also got burned. This was not a gendered thing. If you were a witch, you got burned, male or female. You omit that too. You thought it was in 1925 because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Also, all right.
What we can do is we can bump these up to 1 minute because I knew 30 seconds is really brief. So if I remember right, we started with you, Mahleej. So this is the first one where we'll do 60 seconds. Mahleej, go ahead.
Listen, I don't care if it was 100 years ago, it was 200 years ago, whatever. As human beings, we've seen for like thousands, like hundreds of years, at least. Like, I can speak for my religion, okay, which came out of your religion, Christianity, okay? The Abrahamic religion, since they started, it's copied after the other, okay? So I only can stick to, let's say, Islam. At least for 1400 years, women have not had rights. This is the first time in 100 years that we're getting some sort of right. You're talking about voting. Why shouldn't I vote? Why should I not vote when I am a participant? I own a freaking property. I need to know what is happening in this community. I pay as much money. And then you brought up debt. If it's so bad for you, why is it like, why do you think I am not happy having debt? Like, the whole concept, I don't understand how you can make decisions for me saying that it is not good for me. Debt is not good for me. You know, going to school is not good for me. The only thing good for me is finding a husband and having babies.
And time.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't know my mic was open. I apologize. It was open. Okay. This is what I discovered. I heard about women being burned to the stake. I'm going to knock this one out first. Then I'm going to let this keep running. And I'm going to go back in regards when women had the right to vote entirely. And we got to look at not only the difference between here in America, but also in Canada. What has been written, it is said that because this stupid chick, and I can't use the B word right now because I still need more time going live streams. I'm going to be respectful. This chick said that Americans, especially America, have been burning women in the stake for the last 100 years. That is a goddamn error. That's wrong. The story of America in regards to burning women to the stake begins with the Salem witch trials. Salem is where located in, I think, Massachusetts. That's because we're here in the East Coast. So that's like a 2-hour drive, maybe. Boston, Massachusetts, Salem witch trials of 1692. Contrary to the popular belief, None of the accused witches in Salem were burned. Were burned. 90 people were hanged. One man, Gallus Corey, was pressed to death with stones. Others died in jail awaiting trial. Actual burnings, while rare, there were cases of women being burned at the stake in colonial America. The first record case was in 1681. That is a period of, my math is right, 1, 2, 3, 344 years ago. Involved a black woman named Maria in Roxbury, Massachusetts. She was convicted of arson and executed by burning. So she was looks like the first case of a black woman that died from burning. Wow. The last known case was in 1805 involving another black woman in North Carolina. What the hell is this woman talking about women were getting burned today? Is she talking about non-black women or non-white women? From what this said here, the only thing that was burned that has been labeled was only 2 black women. Racial disparities in execution between 1681 and 1805. 87% of women burned at the stake in America were black. And this was during the 16 up to 1800s. That's a period of over close to 20 years. These executions were typically for crimes like arson or deletion. And black women faced harsh punishment than white women for similar offense. White women were more often hanged rather than burned. And then there's more into it. There's European influence. The myth of burning witches likely comes from Europe. Witch trials where burning at the stake was common. In places like Germany, France, and Scotland, thousands were burned alive during witch hunts from the 15th to 18th century. That's it. That is it. So the only case of women getting burned is not non-black women, aka white women at that time. Now, we're not getting burned during times in America. The people that were getting burned in America mostly, and probably the most from what is shown by records, were black women. So, and that was a period, and the last case was in the 1800s, allegedly. So I'm not sure where she's talking about women getting burned in the state last century. That is a lie. It is true that they have burned women in America, but they only burn black women, and it's not by witchcraft. It's by arson and some other cases. So I'm gonna let this continue on. I just gotta run that fact check because we gotta be serious. Yeah, she is a maniac. I agree. She is a maniac. Yes, 1680. All right, let's keep going.
So we're looking at societal prescriptions here, at the whole society, not at your narcissistic view of what you selfishly want. Nobody gives a shit what you selfishly want.
Oh, and I'm going to be checking if we have likes. If you're watching the stream for your cell phone or any other electronic device, it is easy just to give this video a like so it could be known through the algorithm. Likes are free, guys. Hit the like button, please. I appreciate it. Hit the like.
We're looking at the societal view of what's actually good, which is what I put in my entire opening statement. So if we're talking about oughts, why ought we do a thing? We can look at the results of the thing and see if we ought do it or not do it. Here's the results of women voting. The results of women voting are no-fault divorce, the result of which is the divorce rate is sky high. It's through the roof. We're not reproducing in our nations. You vote for degeneracy overwhelmingly. That's plenty of reasons why we ought not let women vote. Can you give me the ought for why women should vote, please? Give me the actual ought, other than, because I really want to. Because, aha, Shira, if I'm empowered, hear me roar. Can you give me a single ought for why women ought be able to vote?
I'll have to agree with you on one thing. I will agree with you. White women are stupid, to be honest. Like, even I say that because they're arguing with me about Islam, and I'm just like, do you even know? So I will agree with you. But again, don't generalize women all around the world, because there is women like it. I will agree with you on a few things. I will agree with you on a few things. But the thing is, that divorce rate that you're saying is high up, no fault divorce. you know what? You have to have, you think that people are going to just like be together again for like 30 something years like it was back in the days? No, this is not the world we're living in. We're online. Things don't freaking work out. People, I think people are rushing into getting married.
Can you answer my
They
question?
meet each other. Hang on. They meet each other for like 6 months and then they're getting married. No, and then of course the divorces are going to happen. Divorces are also happening more because now we have the option to divorce. Before we didn't have the option to divorce.
Yes, you did.
Right? That's what you were saying.
Yes,
No, we
you
didn't.
did. Yes, you
No,
did.
how did we have? Okay, again, like even in Islam, we have the option to divorce, but it is so difficult.
And
it is frowned upon, and even in a
time.
society, a divorced woman is frowned
Gotta kick it.
upon.
So she didn't notice. She didn't actually give me an answer to my question, which I asked her is why ought women vote? I have an actual ought why they probably shouldn't, and why most men probably shouldn't. Because hang on, lady, calm down, lady. She never actually gave me. She never actually gave me an answer to my ought claim. I gave her a really good description because the results are really bad. That's why you ought not do it. Why should you? She didn't answer the question. She doesn't know. She just really wants to. Ultimately, though, if I could provide you with a societal example, which is better if you don't vote, you should probably go for that. That makes way more sense. That's logical. That's reasonable. What's illogical and not reasonable is for you to say, I freaking heart voting, and that's why. Give me, again, I'll ask you, give me the reason why, if women voting leads to these terrible outcomes for people, why is it we should let them vote? Tell me why.
It's only, to me, it sounds like it's only leading to terrible outcome for men. Because men are scared that, oh my God, divorce rate is going up. We don't have a problem with it. Women don't have a problem with it. And then you're also scared about the reproductive.
You're still not
Even
answering
in
the
Pakistan,
question.
hang on, the reproduction has gone down. Everywhere, women are getting more educated. The reproduction is going down. We don't have a problem with it. You guys are the ones that have a problem with it. The voting, everyone should have a right to vote. I don't care if you're a woman.
Why? Why should they? Why?
Part of the society, and you should have.
So you just exist.
And that's how we make societies. No, we make societies from individual and take those opinions. If you don't like it, you men can vote against it, right? You have also that.
No,
right.
we have other options. We could just take the right. We could just take the right.
Oh, you keep interrupting me. You don't let me finish. You have that right. That's why you have this manosphere where you sit here and talk and talk and talk and try to shame women into all that. But I'm just saying that what you're doing and shaming women into it, saying, oh my God, this society is dooming, is not going to help. Because literally, women don't care now. Even in progressive countries, women don't care anymore.
But that's
what we'll do is.
I know why you're not married, baby. I can see why you're not married and you're a single mother. It makes sense. Your attitude, your demeanor. No man wants that. Even your own man of your own group doesn't want this. Man, I tell you, man. You men from Pakistan, you better hold your women, accountable, because you don't want more of these type of chicks out here. Because she's crazy. She is very much crazy. What's good, Red Pill Sleeper Cell? And guys, please hit the like button, share the stream, and please, support the channel, support your boy Chaos Rain a little bit. Super chat, Cash App. You know how it goes. Let's go. Yeah, and she still ain't answering no questions. Yeah. Let's go.
I'm willing to go into the open dialogue. One thing, hold on one sec. I'm willing to go into open dialogue where we don't have to add the 60-second things. And that's actually what I was hoping to just let it move into without me mentioning it. So we'll do that now and see how well it can go.
Yeah, so this is my whole point. My whole point is that women don't care. That's right. You can't give me duties that women have, just things they're entitled to. Not duties that they have, things they're entitled to. So the thing is like if men can necessarily see this as a bad outcome on society and they have force doctrine on their side, you do realize that eventually will probably lead to men just stepping in and taking it from you, right? Like do you understand that men are capable of doing that? Women are not capable of doing it back because of that. Because of that.
I'm fully aware of that.
So you're always appealing to men. You're always appealing to men to enforce these rights that you so desperately want. And if you say, well, women just don't care. They just don't care about men's interests. We just don't care. You're just useless cogs, which are disposable, right? What do you think? How do you think the reaction is going to be when you take the strong primate and you tell the strong primate, no, we're going to do things which are against your interest and the interest of society? It moves towards authoritarianism. Your view actually moves towards the very thing you don't want.
See, the thing is, your interest, your men's interest, it conflicts with my human rights, right? Like the fact that I can't vote, I shouldn't own a property. Because if I own a property, I should have a right to vote as a woman or as a man, because I'm contributing into that society. If you want to go back into like where women are forced to stay home and be, taking care of their kids and all that, I think that again, the only way men can control women is by force.
But wait,
what you
that's
want
not
to go
even a
back
good
to.
argument.
That's
Like,
exactly what you're
listen,
no,
that's
but
not a
that's
good
what you're
argument.
saying.
Hang on.
Not only is it not a good argument, a man doesn't have to really force nothing, sweetie. Just roll back some laws, remove some incentives. Matter of fact, usually what men will do, they start taking back, drawing out the money, and you go back and you be so nice and docile and sweet, and you be back to where you were in your natural state. Personally, you're seeing here right now in America, personally, when they roll back certain laws and now cutting funding. A lot of women are now popping up, and I mean it, literally, pop up looking for men. And you know the notion, and I'm gonna play this because y'all gonna like this. Gentlemen, have you ever experienced this type of thing?
Kind of thing.
Have you experienced that, gentlemen? Have you? Matter of fact, y'all didn't get that? Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all did not get that. Let me do that again. Matter of fact, I got something better to make it more clear. You get that point when women have to, things are rolling back. There's cuts, all this stuff. You get that notion that you get that unexpected text call or someone pop up in front of your face and they be saying this.
So when it gets cold outside and you hear the hey big head.
Yep. You get that. You get that. That's the only way you ladies go back to men. When they start cutting back the money and really drawing back the money, you get that big head, text, that call. And now, let's keep going.
Hang on, relax. That's not actually a good argument. If you had started an argument with me by saying, Andrew, I think we should go back to property owners being able to vote, men and women. I think that's a fine argument, but that's not your actual position. You just said I deserve to be able to vote because I own property, right? Okay, but that's not what you said. What you actually said is everybody deserves the right to vote because they fucking exist.
But I still say that.
No. We don't let all sorts of people vote because the outcomes are bad.
Why? I'm going to tell you why everyone should vote.
We'll
Because it doesn't matter who you are.
I said a comment, and I'm not supposed to read super chats, but I'll read this. I figure I subscribe just to say this. As a woman, I personally love being strong and able to vote, not being required to rely on people with the opinions that I shouldn't have the right is why. Okay. And this is from Millis Or. Hey, Millis Or, how long you been a participant voter? Are you voted here in America or another country? I'm kind of curious. Let's continue.
You're still living in the society. You're still contributing to the society. You're still shopping. You're still traveling.
No.
How come you cannot? No, how come you?
Most people are net drain on society.
I do want to give Mahleej
because they
time.
take more from the system than they give to the system. Do you understand that?
Mahleej, one thing is if you ask a question, so like if you're trying to explain something and then you ask him a question, then I kind of have to let him talk. So did you feel like you finished your point there?
No. What I'm saying
Not
to you.
you. I'm talking to Mahleej.
My whole point here, I am saying that as a society, if we're going to create a society and we're going to call it freedom for everybody, equality for everybody, which
now from what's the name? Nathan Dunlap writes, as a property owner, okay, as a property owner in multiple states, I agree. Only property owners should be allowed to vote. If you notice, Nathan, the first founding fathers in America, before they start put laws and acts back, I think in the late 1800s, where most people that only could participate in American politics and how things are governed were property owners. And when I think about it back then now, it made sense because people that made some of themselves and are very productive in society and really make society drive, they were more inclined to really be the ones that really make decisions on how a country should move, how America should be functioning, because they have invested in themselves and invest in the country to make it money. So yeah, if you're owning things, control things, yeah, that will be the more sensible route for people to operate in politics, personally. So I understand why, it made more sense back then. Today, a lot of people don't really conceptualize that, because unless you really educate and know about politics properly, anybody could vote, but you don't know why you're voting, personally. So, all right, let's keep going.
I think is how we can, as much I know that everything cannot be equal. Okay, someone's gonna get some, but how can you say that even if that person is sucking in from the system, it is still part of the system? Their opinion still matters, whether it is right or not.
No, I don't believe all opinions are
Somebody's
equal.
not contributing to the
I'm going to
society.
answer
Well,
your
you have no
question.
say.
I'll
Let's
answer
kick it
your
over to Andrew.
question. It's very clear to me that you should not have 18-year-olds nullifying the vote of 40-year-olds who've been participating in the system for twice the amount of years that they've been alive. That they are so politically stupid and they don't understand what's going on in the political process that they can be used as cogs by non-governmental organizations which bribe them. We see this day in and day out. That is not a good system, ladies.
I'm going to look up when they made the law in effect that you could vote at the age of 18. I'm going to look that up personally, because now I'm really thinking long and hard. I think that should be rolled back. It should not be when you come or you're in high school to participate in the political process and voting. I think it should be a little bit older, in my opinion. This is just me. But the reason why I say, even today, now as it stands, most people today are not politically astute. They're not really participating, much less having a clear understanding of how the political game works. So I think making the laws make us someone a little bit older to participate in that, instead of being 18 years or older to vote, I think it should go. They should be a little bit older. Now, how old they should be, I don't know. I think maybe at 25, maybe at best. But what y'all say? I want to hear from y'all in the chat room. Let's go.
And why do you want 18-year-olds to vote against well-informed 40-year-olds and cancel their vote? That's dumb. We should never have a system like that. And when you look, all we have to do is look at the outcomes of who can be bribed by non-governmental organizations who sometimes give billions of dollars in kickbacks to politicians and book deals and things like this in assistance for them passing legislation that they want. They bribe portions of the electorate to do this. That's a terrible, terrible system where we're never supposed to have mandatory participation in voting. Our founders would be rolling over in their graves if they heard that everybody could vote. That was never the way the system was set up.
Okay, so I do.
Okay, Nathan writes, it was after the 70s. All right, I'm gonna look at the exact date, but I think the 70s made sense. I think it was around the 70s when they put the law, you could be 18 over to vote. I'm gonna check that. Let's keep going.
I agree with you. Maybe we can raise the age. I think we should be able to raise the age once you are out of the college and you're actually contributing into the society. You've got a job and stuff. Okay, I can agree with you.
Oh, great! So we can limit voting. That's good step one.
Don't interrupt because I'm like trying to,
Yeah, that's a good step one.
Your points. So I can agree with that. Like you're too young at 18. I don't even know. Like I didn't even know about anything about politics. Like in 18 at that time.
I am not surprised.
Well, no. It's not that. Don't be surprised. It's just because that was not in my face all the time with social media. We're living in different times. You have to understand. It was I went to school here. I can tell you that in high school, there was none of this propaganda about transgenders and all this political shit. It was not here. I know. I agree with you.
As women driving it, by the way.
Right? Sorry?
Women are driving it.
No, there's men also too. Like, so, okay, my question
There are some men, I agree, but women are the deciding vote.
Let me finish. Women are being bribed.
Well, how many times do I have to let you finish?
Were there, no, because you said 2 points, right? You had your 2 points.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
18. And then you said women are corrupt. They're taking bribes. My question is...
No, that's not what I said.
Yeah, you said they can be bribed all by these
I
organizations.
said at that point I was talking about portions of the electorate can be bribed. Like you have to untangle these concepts. So you understand what I'm saying?
Before the women were even involved, the men weren't being bribed. All these in history we see the men are not traitors. Like what are you trying to?
Okay, I found the exact date when you could be able to vote. And it says here, and I think it's the 26th Amendment. Yeah. Yeah. Well, y'all know I'll give you what the 26th Amendment states, but it says here the year when people at the age of 18 and older could vote or was ratified by the 26th Amendment was in 1971, July the 1st. That is a period of 54 years ago. And I think that same year, a lot of people say we've gone off the gold standard at that same year. So I find it ironic the year when they start messing with the money was the same year they start allowing young people that just got out of high school have the right to vote. And the slogan is, young people were being drafted into the military service at 18 but couldn't vote or until 21. The popular slogan, old enough to fight but old enough to vote. The 26th Amendment says the right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by the state of accounts of age. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna read your comment in a second. Let's keep going. Very serious.
You say that's a human behavior. You're gonna have some women.
No, bribery was necessarily limited by the voting pool. So if you had a stakeholder in, you're actually far less.
No men that
I wish I could answer your question that you just asked me. But anyway, yeah, bribery is necessarily limited because you can't. If you have a more limited voting block, it's way harder for them to raid the treasury on behalf of a certain demographic, and that's what divisive.
Limited,
the divisive.
Hang on,
can you calm down for 2 seconds? Yeah. That's the whole game. The whole game is being able to bribe voting blocks, and they utilize NGOs and non-government organizations and things like this in order to bribe those voting blocks. You've already agreed with me that you want to limit suffrage. You've already agreed with me. You're like, let's raise the voting age. That's limiting suffrage. You're an anti-suffragette, lady. You already want to. Hang on. Stop. My turn. Before you start spurging out.
Yeah, man. Let him talk, man. Let him cook. Let him cook, man. Let him go in. Listen. Sweetie, you're dealing with logic here. Andrew's bringing the logic to your rhetoric now. He's going to challenge your thinking. He's going to challenge your talking points. He's going to challenge your rhetoric. Anyhow, let me read Millie Orb in her comment. She writes, the reason I think 18 and older is valid to 40. Okay, 18 and older is just as valid as 40 because regardless of policy will affect you at 18 years old. As a minor, when I was working, I felt how from my wage went. Okay, that's one comment. Next comment. Yeah, I could legally vote since I was legally a minor, but the policy still affects how for my cash went for gas, food, water. Okay. And if you die of your country, okay. And the reason why I said should be extended to, I would say no greater than 25 years of age should be the max. All cross board, don't change. I think people that's in high school, most people that's from high school, I'm gonna be honest with you, Millie, are not thinking about their wages, the cost of food, rent, all that stuff. Rather, if they've been educated, which most educators don't teach enough youngsters about politics or the political process, social science and all that stuff. And really, you got to question social science today as a science because usually there's so much layers about how things work. You're going to read certain books and you have to go back to the history of certain countries or way how things move to get a clear understanding why some people move politically, in my opinion. But anyhow, let's keep going. And I'm going to read what I was going to read. Oh, the voting process or women's rights to vote. Let's keep going.
Let me finish my point. Right back to you. You're already an anti-suffragette. So what you did was this. You went, hey, based on my knowledge of the bad outcome of 18-year-olds voting, we shouldn't let 18-year-olds vote. And I'm like, that's great. You're using logic and reason. So all we have to do is extrapolate that to other groups that make really poor voting decisions, and then we could do the exact same thing, because that's what smart people do. That's how smart people operate. They go, wow, you make really terrible decisions, and you're making those decisions and outnumber me, and we probably shouldn't have that because that's a terrible system. You actually agree with me. You start with step one. You're right. 18-year-olds shouldn't be able to vote, Andrew. Let's raise it to 25. And then you gave another qualifier. Let's make sure they're contributing to society. That's great. Now we've eliminated tons of people from being able to vote, because a lot of people, I think it's actually most of the underclass at least, are non-contributors to society at all, as far as the services they get back from the government are far more than they put in. So it's like, I agree with you. Already we're limiting suffrage. I think this is great. This has been a productive conversation so far.
I just love it when people that follow Sky Daddy God call me, we talk about common sense and logic, right? So yeah, no, I agree with you that.
Oh yeah, follow Earth Daddy instead. Follow Earth Daddy.
No, I don't have to follow a daddy. That's the whole problem. You guys want us to follow daddy.
Oh yeah, or whatever. You got a daddy somewhere, lady.
Let's give Mahleej.
That's why all you men want to be our daddies online. Like, we really don't want you to be our fathers. Okay?
Yeah, I'm
That's
not here to be your
the problem.
father. I'm here to advocate for myself, not to be your daddy.
Yeah, so that's
Let's give
good.
Mahleej a chance to respond.
These men can be father to their own kids, and they're gonna be anyhow. This is what.
Yeah, you abort your kids. Don't lecture
But
me,
that's
lady.
when I
You kill
start
your
talking.
kids.
Let me start talking. Why
Yeah,
are you
well,
getting
don't make quips if you don't want quips back. Don't talk about.
Ooh, man, so wicked. He said you delete your kids. God damn, Andrew. Ooh, man, you can't make this stuff. Wait. Andrew, I gotta give you this. You can't make this ish up.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up. God damn it! You can't make this shit up.
All right.
A bad father when you kill your kids. Like, stop. It's embarrassing.
Oh my
You're embarrassing
God.
yourself.
Like, where are you?
All right,
Don't you
we
abort
need
your
to-
kids?
all
Don't
right,
you
we
abort
need to
them?
get this
Kill your
back on
kids.
track.
Like,
Yeah,
where
you're an
are you?
abortionist.
We need to get
You're- you
back to
kill
the
your
actual.
kids. What are you
We
talking
need to
about?
get back to the
Oh my
actual
God.
arguments.
So anyhow, I'm gonna go back to what he was talking about. That, oh my God, the way, like I told you, when I, like 20 years ago, when I was studying here, this whole propaganda wasn't up there. The thing is, you just only keep blaming women. There's men in politics making rules too. It's not only women making these rules. There's men out there too. Why don't you blame them? No.
What
it's
part
all
of I want for
women's
women
fault.
voting for men did
It's
you
all-
not hear?
it's all
Which part of
women's
that did you
fault.
not hear?
See, I can't
It's
do this.
because you
This is
talk
why
so
I'm
much you
so
can't hear
triggered. You
anything.
won't let me finish.
I've answered your question. You just said, you literally said, when are you going to talk about
No,
men?
you
I put in my
wanna let me-
opening that men should be
Sir,
limited in
sir,
voting.
sir.
What do you not get about that?
Sir, let me finish. I know you don't like
Dumb.
women talking to you because, oh my God, I better submit.
You're not
and
talking. You're just shrilly screaming,
obedient
lady.
to a man.
All right.
But please let me please. Okay.
Okay.
So again, whatever he was saying, now that I've forgotten what he was talking about, he was talking about the voting thing. Yes, because all you see is propaganda in the whole school system, especially in US. So I would agree with you. Yes, if you can't contribute, if you're not contributing towards the society, you're not working, you're not out of the school, whatever.
No
I
vote
don't
for
think
you.
that
Yes.
You should be. See, this is the thing.
Yes. Yes, lady. We got there. Yes, we
All
got
right,
there.
we'll
I
break
agree
it-
with you.
We'll break it back into 60 seconds.
Can I talk? Because I don't do this, right? Like, this is like
We'll give you 60 seconds, Mahleej, and then we'll give Andrew 60 seconds
I'm
as
gonna
well.
back to the same thing. I'm gonna go back to women voting. I think it's important to women to have their voice. You want to take their voice away. I can agree with you to a certain extent, because see, the thing I see with the society is it's not going to work, me calling you names or you calling women names and taking their rights away. It's not. We're gonna have to work together. That means we're gonna have to compromise somewhere. But the whole fact that you sit there and calling women names and calling me a baby killer, I actually had an option to have an abortion or keep a child, and I kept the child. But if I didn't, then I had an abortion. Same, you will sit there and call me a baby killer. But now that I have the child, now I'm a single mom. So either way, I'm fucked. It doesn't matter. In his eyes, it doesn't matter. So that's the whole thing. Why we don't care. Why women don't care. We don't care about men like yours opinion, because it doesn't matter what we do. Men like you will never be happy, because we always have to prove and submit, and we got to be this, and we got to be this, and we got to be this. Where when we come to men doing all those things, No, they don't have to follow any of those rules. So, and that whole thing
And
comes from the
time.
religion aspect of it. Thank you.
Well, baby, men are easy. Men can easily satisfy. I think most men nowadays keep it simple what they really want. Now, if you have a child at wedlock and then you feel that they're gonna make fun of it, oh well, that's life. You gotta chuck up to the game. Now, one thing you could do differently or do is, all right, you got knocked up by this dude, right? He won the award and got access to your box, right? And thus forth, you carry his child, right? Or his seed, right? The best thing you could do, depending on the sex of the child, right? You just give the child to the father and let him deal with it. And you move on with your life. I mean, that will eliminate some problems. Now, a lot of people say, oh, we don't want, you said we should ban our children and give to the goddamn baby father or whatever. I'm saying, listen, you want a different outcome? Do something different. Now, not, a lot of men are not going to knock it, you know, because you, in your mind, as long as you're not, you know, the child's under your care, a man has to worry about that. If he asks, and you got to keep it real and be honest. Now, if he still reject you and deny you, then you got to move on to the next dude. There's always some dude, if you play your cards right, be humble, respectful, feminine, as best as possible. A man will take you on and will say they'll give you a shot. They will risk something out of you because you're showing something that saying, okay, I'm willing to give this lady a chance. Most modern women today, like yourself, sweetie, a lot of men are going to think twice of not giving you a chance. Right now, as we speak, I thought it was propaganda or some clickbait, but it looks like Travis Hunter is getting a divorce from his little jump off chick. But, you know, he has learned hard because he is simp, so he has learned the hard way. But yet again, it shows how you carry yourself as a woman. So let's keep going. And what's this? Oh, all right. Let's go.
That's funny because the religion aspect of it is what puts responsibility on men. So, for instance, I do hold men to a really, really high standard. I think that men shouldn't be promiscuous, just like I think women shouldn't be promiscuous. I think men should be publicly shamed for promiscuity, just like I think women should. You said I don't advocate for any type of limitation on men voting. Completely wrong. You just made it up. I literally put in my opening that there should be limits on men voting too. You agree with me on the limiting of voting. You literally agree with me. The very first thing you said is like, yeah, you're right. 18-year-olds shouldn't cancel out your vote. When I was 18, I was a dumbass, you said. Fair enough, right? Totally agree with you. So already you're moving into the idea. Hang on. Can I finish? I didn't interrupt you. Okay, so anyway, as we go through it, here's what we see. You agree with my points that we should limit the voting pool. So you're an anti-suffragette already, right? Now we're just arguing degrees. What degree do we limit it? You think that people aren't a net gain into society? You're literally cutting the vote down way quicker than I would. I'm actually impressed with you. I think that that's fantastic. We should be moving towards that as quickly as we possibly can. Also, let me just point out, yes, I think that men who advocate for abortion are baby killers and women who do it are baby killers. You're right. I hold them both to an equal standard. See how that works?
All right. We'll kick it over to Mahleej. 60 seconds.
Well, it's because I have common sense, right? I use logic. I might not have PhD or a doctor's degree or something, but I use logic. And when you logically explain that to me and I can see it, yes, as an 18-year-old, I wasn't a dumbass. You know, I was doing a lot with my life. That's why I am where I am as a 40-year-old. So I wasn't just fucking around. But I'm just saying the whole fact when I hear things from you, you know, whether it is like with the whole shaming thing, I totally agree with you. If you're going to shame women, well, men should be shamed too. You know, it's got to be equal in those departments. I totally agree. What my problem with you is that you think that all this is happening because women got their rights and because of women. But I don't think it is only the women's fault that the society like this is failing. But you guys just only blame feminism for it. That's my problem. Like I'll agree with you on certain things, but you can't keep, and the whole religious part, like the whole obeying you, the husband part, I just can't get over it. You can love your partner, and in that love, you can obey and do things for him. I have done things for men that are, you can call submissive, You know, just because I had that love for that partner. But if somebody's going to demand that from me, you're not going to get by demanding. And what you're doing is you're demanding. You're like, no, this is how it's got to be. You got to be submitting to him. You got to be at home raising kids. You know, and your point, the whole thing that, you know, women are better at home raising kids than being outside.
All right,
working.
60 seconds.
Let me give you the arguments here so that you understand maybe I can appeal to you logically again. Women are way better. Why would you take the best and brightest, like the smartest women that we have, and waste them in a cubicle instead of having them raise the next generation of the best and brightest women and men? Why wouldn't you want them to do that? Why would you want to outsource their care? That's fucking stupid. It's actually stupid to say that you want to outsource the care of your own children to complete strangers instead of you, the person who has the biggest maternal bond with them, raising them and advocating for society where that's possible. The outcomes are not just based around, we want women to submit to our authority, right? There's a necessary component there, I agree, but we're talking about what's in the best interest of future generations, our children, right? Yes, I'm sorry, women do have duties to their children to keep their families intact, including with those children's fathers. Look at the outcomes of these homes where they run the fathers out or where the fathers aren't present. It's a horrible result on the kids. Horrible. If you look at the Black community, for instance, it's 2 out of 3 homes don't have a father. Look at how terrible the results are in these homes. Yes, feminism, I'm not saying it's only women, but feminism was the major driving component in the sexual revolution to the degradation of the family unit. There's no way around that. That was the advocation of feminism, and early feminists, that is what they advocated for. I can give you their quotes.
Okay, so again, the whole thing about, like, you know, women and single moms and stuff, and I can see how it has escalated, but there's a lot of factors to it. You know, you're talking about kids not having fathers and stuff. I can tell you the opposite stories. My own story. The guy doesn't want to be involved in her life, and I'm not going to force him to, right? So there's a lot, and I am actually part of a lot of single moms groups where a lot of these men don't want to be involved in these kids' lives. It's not that women are stopping them, but you know what? Online we hear always, oh, I wanted to see my kid. And the ones that do see them, they see them once a week. If you're saying that women haven't been doing duty, actually women are doing double the duty now. Women go outside, they work, and then they come back home, and then they have the duty to those kids. But men, when they go to work, they come back,
10
they don't
seconds
do
left.
stuff at home. Sorry, in 1 second.
Yeah.
So they don't
You can
do
go
all
with
the
it.
same things. Like, we got our rights, we got whatever, but men stopped, they didn't change themselves, that, you know, the physical labor and the whole responsibility of raising a
And
child. You guys don't take that responsibility.
time.
Perfect.
More men-
We'll
more
kick it
women
over to
take that.
These
Andrew
are
for
all excellent
60
arguments you're
seconds.
making against feminism and egalitarianism. You're right. The law used to make it mandatory that men had to take care of their children. They had to do it, or they went, or they went to jail. They had to take care of their wives, or they went to jail. That's what the law used to say they had to do. Now they don't have to. You don't have to take care of your wife now. You just leave. On top of that, wives, they're the ones who are doing the initiation of divorce. And it's not for abuse. The number one reason is irreconcilable differences. He doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy inside, which puts their children at a massive disadvantage in comparison to the rest of society. Okay, you do have to sacrifice your duties and interests on behalf of your children. You say, oh, men don't help out with the housework. Well, yeah, if you're a stay-at-home mom, that's your job, lady. He does the work, you do the housework. Oh, it's terrible. And by the way, it's a great deal for women to be stay-at-home moms. They only have to do the early maternal years. I have multiple children. It gets way easier as they get older in that department. And most of the time now, you ship your kid off to public school by the time they're 6. So you don't even have them for 8 hours out of the day. Don't tell me how rough it is on women. Give me a break.
60 seconds.
Okay, so that, like I say, it's so easy. Why don't men do it? Let's do it.
They
right?
do
We
do
can
it.
swap the
They do
roles.
do it.
No. There's more single mothers than there's single fathers. Okay,
By choice. By choice.
Yes, he's right. By choice. And I said this early in the broadcast, and I will repeat this again. If you feel that you, as a woman, can handle being a mother, then by all means, give your child to the father. And last time I checked, there's a rising growing of fathers raising their children and doing pretty much a damn good job. The last time I checked. So, but a lot of women are not going to give their children to the father because they know that the fathers are going to do what's necessary for the best of their children. Unlike the mothers or the single mothers, which is the reverse. Especially your boy, you have a higher chance likely you're going to go to jail being raised by a single mother. That's the honest truth. That's just the honest truth. I said I was going to read the thing with voting, but I'm going to get to it in a second. Let's let this play out.
Let me finish.
Well, let's give Mahleej 60 seconds.
Okay, I thought
I
she was asking me a
literally
question.
know of women that have been divorced in my area in the last few years that I've lived here. And let me tell you, they're exhausted. They're exhausted from working outside. They're exhausted from taking care of the parent, for the kids, running them around here. And literally, they're tired. That's why you say like, oh, they didn't feel warm and fuzzy anymore. So you want the parents to be miserable, not love each other, but stay for the kids. Do you think that is better for the kids? No,
Yeah.
it's not better for the kids.
That's not what the stats show.
I'll make you that argument.
Not
right
what the
now.
stats show.
And if the woman, the mother is herself miserable in a relationship, if she can't take care of herself, how is she going to take care of the kids? You guys are never there. I have been in, like, literally, you would rather have an abusive family, these people screaming, yelling and screaming in front of kids that they think is better than
10
having
seconds
two
late.
separate houses.
Well, then you have to. Then Lucy, you got some splaining to do, because before we had no fault divorce, most people stayed married. And if women were truly these, hey, can you stop? Can you
We'll have
stop
to give it
talking,
to
lady?
60 seconds.
So if it is the case, lady, that women were in these miserable marriages and they just couldn't leave, and that was actually worse for the kids, how come those kids were so much better adjusted with way less mental illness and had way better prospects for their future than our children do right now in single mother households? Can you explain that? Why is it that in single mother households, the children have every single multiple disadvantage you could think of, including mental illness, homelessness, everything else, when in comparison, we go back to before there was no fault divorce, women stayed married. That generation of children, far better adjusted, way less mental illness, way less homelessness, way better nest eggs. They have better advantages in every aspect. So if it is the case that women were just miserable, right, and they shouldn't have stayed just out of duty because that would affect the kids, it seems to have affected them positively, didn't it?
First of all these terms that have come up with ADHD and everybody's got some kind of some kind of order. So that was because we didn't have all these orders at that time. Now we do have them, right? So that's why you're seeing them. Because at that time, those kids, you're comparing you cannot go back to the old ages, Andrew. I know you want to go back into your childhood and then that, but we are evolving. We are always evolving as human beings and as society.
This isn't an argument. Make an argument.
Always, no, but I'm just telling you that this is how it works. You are still sitting in that area, and then you're like, well, back in the days, it used to be like this. Why didn't you have this? Why didn't you have this? Because of science. Now, science says that this is what happens. Well, this person has ADHD, right? Put them on some pills. Why? Because the pharmaceutical companies can make pills. We can get into a whole other argument with that. But you cannot say women did not have the right, or it wasn't easy for them to get a divorce. No, it wasn't.
Oh, so let me get this right. Hang on, it's my turn now. Hang on.
Right now, I can give you an example. Please don't interrupt me. I can give you an example right now.
But it's my turn to talk.
You're legally allowed to get a divorce.
We'll give you a chance to wrap up, Mahleej.
I know, but he keeps interrupting me. In Pakistan, you have the right to divorce, but it is so difficult for you, and it is so frowned upon. To go get a divorce, it makes it harder for women to go actually get a divorce. But even then, women are getting divorces because even in Pakistan, see, so it doesn't work that way, Andrew.
Yeah, you see how you destroy your own argument? You're like, well, Andrew, what it is the reason that the families who are intact, even though the women couldn't get a divorce, the reason that the children had better outcomes is because a bunch of pharmaceutical companies and psychologists weren't cramming ADHD meds down their throat. We didn't have those type of psychosis at the time. Well, who are the psychologists, lady? Women. They're all women. It's almost 100% women in that field. It's completely oversaturated with women. They're the ones who are inventing the borderline personality disorder, narcissism. They're the ones at the forefront of that, completely saturated with women in that department, not men, women. And by the way, that still doesn't even contend with my argument. They should have been just as mentally ill then as they are now. They should have been, but they weren't. Why? Well, because when we look at intact households right this second, we see that the results for the children are fantastic, even if the parents stay and they don't really like each other that much. But we go back to when you had a show cause instead of no cause for divorce. You saw the outcomes for the children were far better, even if the women were miserable. Contend with that argument. Show me the flaw in that logic.
You know, so back in the days, I remember in our village, there was a guy that he used to, everyone thought that he had like these jinns on him. He needed exorcism. And then 20 years later, now we can find out that, you know, he was bipolar or something else. So that's exactly what happened, Andrew. We didn't have those things then. Now we have those things, right? And then we also.
Why wouldn't you have had them then, though?
Please don't interrupt. Okay.
Why wouldn't you have had them then?
Let's give 43 seconds yet.
You keep bringing your argument why those kids didn't have it and we have it. It's the same thing. We didn't know the signs of ADHD. We didn't know the signs of autistics. Like we didn't know the signs of a lot of things that we know the signs now. Okay. And yes, I do agree with you because it's a pharmaceutical company. They're just, you know, I do find that they're just giving it to everybody, even though people do have legit problems, but we didn't know that back then. People had those same things. But we just didn't know. It's not like, oh my God, it just, so your argument, again, because you're a man of God, you don't believe in science, we're evolving. Things are going to evolve. Some things are.
I think this woman is very disrespectful. And the reason I'm saying this, Andrew never claimed that he hates science or don't think science is not factual. I'm not sure where she get that conclusion from, because like most men, like Andrew, he smells bullshit when he hears it. And you're spewing too much bullshit. Personally, sweetie. Now, I'm not sure what type of point you're trying to bring out, but it's not working in this conversation. I'll tell you that damn much. But anyway, let's keep going.
Going to work out. Some things are not going to work out. So then you fix those things. That's how society works.
And time.
Thank you.
Oh, I see. If you don't believe, I see. So if you believe in God, you can't believe in science. I'm an engineer by trade. I don't know what you do, but I definitely believe in science. By the way, let me just point this out. What you're saying is irrational. You say we now have the diagnostic tools in order to diagnose these mental illnesses. Those mental illnesses still would have existed. They just would have been undiagnosed, right? If that's the case, then we still should have seen all sorts of maladjustment inside of these households because the women were miserable and we don't see that. So your argument makes no sense. It makes no sense. There should have been just as many kids with ADHD then, even if it's undiagnosed, as there are right now. But there weren't. And what's so interesting is that when we look inside of these two-parent households, right, the results for these children was extraordinarily better than they are right now. And you would have to argue that at least a lot of those women were miserable because they couldn't leave those marriages. Why were those kids so much better adjusted, lady? Why?
I don't know, adjusted to what you're talking about. Again, and I'm going to go to your argument that you keep bringing that up, that, oh my God, why didn't they do this? If we didn't have DNA technology back then, how could you find DNA? That's what I'm saying.
You can't.
If we didn't even invent what ADHD was at that time, you could see the signs. And like I gave you an example, people thought somebody was getting a din on them. They were doing exorcism on them because they could see it.
I literally agree with all of this. You're not. Why don't you understand what I'm saying to you?
No, I do understand what you're saying. Well, why can't you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Because it makes no sense. It's irrational.
Kids are different now, and why these people that you see that people have ADHD? Was there a thing as ADHD back in the day?
No, of course not.
Was there? No, right? Why?
Because we didn't have the linguistics nor the psychological approach to diagnose it, right?
We didn't know that these certain characteristics in a person can be ADHD, even though those
totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Right? So they did actually have it. It just wasn't diagnosed, right?
Hang on. And back in the days, we have no data. We have better ways to collect data now. You don't have the data to measure the happiness of women. Nobody was going home to home asking women if they were happy. Okay. And the fact that you're saying all those people turned out okay. Are you serious?
No, I didn't say that. No. I didn't say okay. I said that their outcomes were far better. The outcomes for those children are far and away better for the outcomes of children in single mother households right now. There's no doubt about that. when you're, and again, you
Whose
keep on
fault is
saying,
that,
we didn't have the tools to diagnose it. I'm agreeing with you. What part of this are you not getting? I agree. You didn't have to, but that wouldn't make the mental illness not present because you can't diagnose it. They would still have the mental illness. You just couldn't diagnose it. You would think they would be worse, but they weren't worse. Even if you had no diagnostics, they still weren't doing worse. So the thing is like these two-parent households, we see this over and over and over again. The outcomes for those children, way better. They did better academically. They did better physically. They did better in almost every aspect of life in comparison to modern children who are raised in single mother households. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. All data points to this.
Mahleej?
All of it.
Okay, so you were saying that those kids back in the days were better physically. Okay, yeah, I agree with you because there was no internet, there was no social media. Kids went outside, they played, they socialized. It was a different time, right? That's what you keep bringing it. No, it was a different time. There was not as many people in the world. It wasn't so multicultural, right? Was it? It was a different world where
These
you
are
lived
great
in. So the
arguments against
outcomes are
feminism.
going to be different. Hang on, the outcomes are going to be different. Right? Nobody was glued to their TV all day long. So obviously they were better physically fit, right? They went and played more sports. So you could see better sportsmen coming out of there. Nowadays, you're seeing more gamers. It's just different. You're still seeing that talent, but it's different. It's you don't, no, because there wasn't that many people at that time either. Like, I just don't understand how you keep comparing that time to now time because the situations were different. You know, everything wasn't.
These
so
are great arguments against multiculturalism.
Everything wasn't so expensive. You know, both parents didn't have to go work outside, right?
Yeah.
You could live in a home and one car in a decent. The times have changed now. You cannot just say, "Oh, it's because single mom."
This is great.
And again,
And
the single moms. Where are the fathers? Why are they
like
not
this is
involved?
fantastic.
Right.
You're right. It's almost like putting women in the workforce, right? Because rich industrialists wanted them to be in the workforce, and they did, and it was all funded by Rockefeller, for instance, who wanted them in the workforce in the worst way, okay? Doubled the now amount of labor, industrial labor, which was available, thus decreasing and suppressing wages necessarily. It was a terrible idea. You're right. They could afford one income because society was set up for that. Women demanded the opposite, and the outcome of that was really bad. Not only that, but let's take a look at your other arguments here, which are absurd arguments. If you would have a good leg to stand on if you said, well, wait a second, it's a different time then, and they didn't have A, B, C, and D. Well, okay, but now we see in two-parent households right this second in modernity, the outcomes for children are still way better. Even if they're in houses where the mom and daddy don't really like each other that much, the outcome for the kids are still better. Why? Because they govern that stuff. They govern the smartphone use. They make them have more playtime. They make demands that they watch less TV. Single mothers aren't making those types of demands. They don't even have time to make those types of demands. Clearly, it's better to have a two-parent household and keep those intact. Feminism has been doing everything it can to destroy that and women's liberation. And I just demonstrated it to you, and you demonstrated it yourself by giving the examples of how society used to be way better.
Fair here. Mahleej, go ahead.
I think women need to have the right to have a divorce. If they're not happy in a marriage, they should have a right to divorce. The fact that you keep saying it and keep bringing it up, I would agree with you. Yes, I agree with you that a child needs both parents. And again, you keep saying single mothers, single mothers, single mothers. I can list 100 names right now of single mothers whose men are not involved. They don't want to see the kids. So you keep blaming the women where we are the ones trying. First of all, we didn't go and get an abortion because otherwise then we would be baby killers. So now we chose to keep the kids, right? So that's also our responsibility. Now we're single mothers and nobody wants us anymore. And the men go and cry on the internet, oh, we are restricting access to their kids. No, these men choose. I have even seen men that will quit working so they don't have to pay child support. Yes, maybe single mothers do fall behind, but they have a lot on their plate. But I will tell you something else. I know you're bringing these stats and stuff, but what I see around me is totally different. I have seen single mothers, once they get out of the relationship, they're better. They're focusing on themselves. They can focus better on their kids now. Their life is more organized.
If you guys noticed, this woman said time and she's still ranting. Have y'all noticed that? Have you noticed she's ranting a whole bunch of nonsense about a man will deliberately not be productive, won't work, so wait, the state won't take no money out of his check. Is this accurate? Is this factual? Do you guys agree or disagree with this stupid chick? And mind you, I'm not knocking because she is Pakistani by what do you call it? I don't know if by religion or by culture, right? That you can't be this damn dumb. Like, really. But like I said, these are the women that are on the airways still poison and putting out this bullshit rhetoric about men. Anyhow, let me keep playing.
They're doing far
Pick
more
it
better when they were together in
over.
an unhappy relationship. Thank you.
Yeah, this is hilarious because we can look at multiple studies which have meta.
Mr. Patriarchy US, I gotta look into the 19th Amendment, see what that is. I think that has something to do with women. I'm gonna look it up right now, see what that has to do. All right, let's keep going.
Analysis done on them, right? And so we can prove that the court system has been extraordinarily biased against men towards women when it comes to custody here in the United States. We have all the support in the world to prove it. We also know that women are initiating the divorces, not men, due to the unhappiness level. Right? They're the initiators of these divorces, not the men. So yeah, the men are like, oh, okay, so you're going to take my kid, hit me out of the blue with a divorce, right? And I'm supposed to pay child support? Like, screw that. It's a raw deal. So yeah, men have legitimate concerns and gripes with this, right? When they get blasted with things like this, men are put in that position. The court systems have been traditionally biased against them. At least my entire adult life they have. And in my father's adult life they were. The second we went into no fault and the custody agreements were automatically defaulting to women. We can see this time and time again. Only through men's rights advocacy has this gotten better at all. And right now, what we can do is we can look at the data of single mother versus single father households, and the single father households outperform them by every single metric. Do you know why that is? It's because abuse in the home happens to children, mostly because of step parents, where women are bringing strange men around the kids, and that's when the kids get diddled and they get beat up and they get everything else. That's on women. That's on the women. You understand?
This whole argument that, oh, is because the single mothers are bringing men, because otherwise kids were never getting molested in the houses. Let's not even talk about the church. In Pakistan.
No, we have to talk about that, sweetie. That's very important, because last time I checked, for all the children that become adults that go out in the world and touch and harm other young children, because they say these young boys, when they get a certain age, they start, touching other girls and men, right? That's the argument, right? And I think, and I always rationalize, say, I wonder where they get this from. But when we find out most of these young boys that become men, because we're going to go deal with the men first before we go back to the girls, because everything lines up for a purpose. Listen carefully. A lot of these young men have been raised by one parent, and that, the parent is a woman. And the reason be because the woman will move on with the next partner, will take him in because he might spit some game, he might pay some bill or some, and she will take this dude under her household in front of her children, which he has no connection to. So what he does, depending on the man that you choose, which most of them are having these dudes play stepdaddy, which some don't want to be stepdads, but okay. They have more great access to your children. And we're not talking about the goddamn stupid church. We're talking about the household, sweetie, not church. Because church, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Church is a choice to go to. It's an institution like anything else. You got to choose to go into the institution. And most people that do get touched by the pastor and stuff, that is a phenomenon in itself. A rarity. Like really a rarity. But the most harm is being conducted higher by percentage is what's happening in the household. And under single mothers, their children have more great chance of being touched by unknown people. And that's it. It is what it is. Now, if the children under a father, that chance of these children getting touched by outsiders is cut in half and may go as far as non-existent. So let's not play this game. Let's not play this game. And I'm not going to do no data and statistics tonight on this show, on this topic, because it'll divulge from her rhetoric, and we don't want to do that because she's not really saying anything that's really substantiated. All right, let's see. I see you in the chat room. Thank you. Make sure you guys hit the like button and support the channel. If you have a serious question, put it in the super chat, please, or Cash App. Let's go.
On most of the
Let's
kids
talk about it.
Hang on. In the double family homes, you know who is getting molested in Pakistan? They're wearing burqas, they're covering everything. The kids are getting molested at their house, in their house. Okay, some other step parent didn't have to come in. Yeah, I know it happens, and women should be careful. But the way you paint here, that every single mother.
What do you mean? What the hell are you talking about? It happens. It would not happen if you kept the man that you got knocked up in near your covenant in your household. Once you decide to let him go and move on, you put your babies at risk. It's that simple. There's no in between. It does not. I don't like when people say it just happened. You think they can have the same? A man could sit there and tell you the same bullshit. It happens when my kids got touched under my care. Hell no! Look at me as a failure, a monster, and someone that should not be raising my kids. So it doesn't go both ways, sweetie. Let's stop that. Let's move on. I'm Miss Inferior. I'm sorry. I just don't like this conversation. She's talking nonsense right now.
Is here going on? I've had one guy meet my daughter because I know what it takes to be in that situation, right? Ever. And that's the worst thing that can happen to your your child.
Did you say you had a guy beat your daughter?
No, I said I've only have had one man meet my daughter, but
meet.
you sit here, paint all single mothers that are bringing their, step parents in. And again, how is that woman's fault? Because she's trusting that man. And of course, you men are like this. You will I can't even believe it. You will come into a relationship with a woman and then try to go and do that to their kid. Because men are so evil, right? But again, I'm going to go back to your point saying that if it is in a double household and stuff, I agree to a certain extent. But at the same time, I don't agree with, sorry, I don't even know what point I was making. I just totally lost it up there. Sorry.
Well, let me respond very quickly to all
what
these.
You were saying, can you repeat that?
Yeah, to all the, hang on, let me respond quickly to all these claims. We'll start with molestation in church. You're right, it does happen, but you know where it significantly happens way more? Public schools, which is where you're sending your kids. Way more. Yeah. It's 100 times more. In fact, 100 times more in public schools. The public institutions are way worse than the churches. So the thing is like that point is moot. You're not advocating we get rid of public schools because of that. So not only that, but let's hang on. But not only that, let's push in even further when it comes to step parents. Am I saying all step parents are bad? No, I'm a step parent myself. Okay. Am I saying that that's bad? No, I'm not saying it's evil. What I'm saying is that if you really have concern for your children, you'll do everything you can first to make your relationship work out on behalf of your child, knowing that the stats and rates of bringing strange people around are going to be detrimental to your child. That's terrible. And this happens over and over again. Women are choosing to be single moms. The father does not want to break it up. The father does not want to break the family up. They choose to be single moms by initiating these divorce procedures against the husband's will, and they don't have to show any cause. They're choosing it. You can't choose it, then complain about it.
Yeah, no, we are choosing it. I have actually spoken to 3 women that just got separated here. One was never married, but they broke up. They were together for 7 years. Yeah, women are choosing because we're tired. Women have literally told me, they're like, we're tired. We can't do all this work. You guys are not putting your own weight. No, you guys are not pulling your own weight. That you're saying we are choosing instead of being miserable. We want to leave, and men don't want to leave. Men don't want to leave. Who wants to leave when all your shit is done for you? Who wants to leave when you have a maid who's taking care of your kids? She's cooking, she's cleaning, she's sleeping with you, and you don't even have to pay anything.
Whoa, what a privilege! She's sleeping with you. Wow, what a privilege.
Of the bills too. Wow, it's like heaven. Haven't you seen that stats? That single women are happier and married men are happy because all their chores are done for them because they've got a maid. This is exactly what it is. That's why women are like, we've had enough. We'll do it ourselves. If we have to do the same work, we'll do it work. And let me tell you, one person's work less is so much better. Believe me, we can focus more. So this is why women are leaving it. It is their choice. I'm not arguing with you. But you men, you don't want to leave because you're so comfortable. You don't want to do better. So women just get up and leave. They're like, okay, fuck it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so here's what's actually going on. You're talking on both sides of your mouth again. So on the one hand, you say it's so hard for single moms out here. Oh my God. My
Let's
turn,
take it
lady.
over
My
to
turn,
Andrew for
lady.
60 seconds.
So you speak out of both sides of your mouth. Okay. Oh, it's just so hard to be a single mom. Who would ever choose that condition? It's so terrible. And then on the other hand, you're like, I know women who are choosing that condition right now because they're just tired of men. You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth, right? So here's what's actually happening. Men feel an obligation, duty to keep their families intact. Women do not in modernity feel an obligation to keep their family intact. That's why they initiate these divorces. Not only are they initiating these divorces, but you, by your own admission, just said you know no less than 3 right now who just did because they're just tired. You know, they just don't feel fulfilled. What about the duty to the kid? I don't know. Screw the kid. It's all about me. It's all about mom. It's all about how I feel. It's like, no, you have children involved now. You have a duty and obligation to keep your family together, just like the men do who are not initiating these divorces. You say it's because they're so comfortable. No, they're not. They're working more than ever. They're working more overtime than ever. They're working their asses off nonstop. And by the way, the conditional, if you think that single women are so much happier, explain why they kill themselves more often than married women do if they're so fucking happy, especially divorced women. Especially divorced women try to off themselves more. In fact, this is one of the segments of demographics most likely to do it.
We'll kick it over to Mahleej.
It's like we can say, why are men that get divorced also commit suicide?
Before she continues, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the stream. Let me see how we are doing in the likes right now. How much more? Yeah, I'm gonna take a look right now, see how we do in the likes. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Let me check. All right. Well, I can't tell right now. All right. Well, let's keep going because I'd look at the device. Let's go.
Single men are also committing suicide.
Because it's miserable,
yeah,
right?
They're both doing it, right?
Because it's miserable.
When I try to answer you, you just distract me with these.
All right. I'm not going to distract you. Go ahead.
And so yeah, no, women are tired and men are comfortable. They are comfortable. That's exactly the reality of it. Men are working, so are women. Today, women are working. It's 2-income household. But when men come home, they want their meals cooked. They don't want to do anything at home. So exactly, this is how bad it is. Even though women know life is going to be miserable, probably really hard after they leave that guy, but they still choose it because they're still happier than what they were in before. So imagine how bad it is. Imagine how bad it is. You guys don't see your shortcoming. You guys keep blaming things.
I see here. The guy said that the moderator sucks. He might as well be whispering time. The moderator. Do you think Dr. Coons suck as moderator? I don't know, man. I think he does these debates constantly on his own platform. It could be better. I don't know if I could say he sucks. I think that's a little bit more insulting, but that's just me. That's me. I don't know. But if you think he sucks, okay. All right, let's keep going.
On us, women work 60 plus hours extra in just household labor, running around with the kids and their chores and doing all those things. And I'm not only talking about single moms, I'm talking about mothers that have parents. And if men wanted to keep families together, we wouldn't have men cheating with multiple women. All right. No, those men will go out. Men do commit more adultery. And you know that men are more likely to go cheat because they can't control themselves. Of course.
Time.
And in our religion, in Islam, you're legally allowed 4 wives. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I'm not advocating on behalf of Islam. That's one. And I advocate on behalf of monogamy like Christians do. Not only that, but who are they cheating with? They're cheating with women who are homewreckers. They're like, what do you want me to say there? Not only that, but men work more hours than
women. We're married. You know how many guys come to me? They don't tell me they're married.
Yeah, stop clucking, lady. So men work more hours than women. This is a statistical fact. You can look it up yourself. You can Google it right this second. Men work way more hours than women do. Not only that, when you say, oh, but women in household chores actually do more. No, they don't. And again, it gets way easier. Most women pack their kids off to a public institution for 8 hours out of the day. Who are you trying to fool here? How dumb do you think we are? You pack them up for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. After school activities often will take up even more of their time. You have to help them with a little bit of homework, make sure they brush their teeth and go to bed. It's a real rough life out there. Meanwhile, you have modern conveniences, washing machines, dishwashers. How long do you think it takes to load a dishwasher? Not very long. How long do you think it takes to load the laundry? Not very long. No, household chores are not, you're not overcoming men in their overtime work.
As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, especially you fellas, you see the laughing? Look at this. I wish I could zoom. God damn, I wish this thing could able to zoom in, man. Oh God, I wish I was able to zoom into this. This is so hilarious. Look at her face. Look at that. Look at that. She laughing. She knows it's true. Stop it, baby. Stop it. Stop it. What life stress you have in an industrialized, now technological age we're in today, where most tasks are offshore with this simplicity of technology, meaning you don't have to wash physical dishes. You put your dishes in a what do you call a dishwasher, and probably more an advanced dishwasher. Now, last time I checked, they got dishwasher now that's more AI built embedded. Same thing with simple tasks. You don't have to sweep up the floor now. You got a little stupid robot now that could, sweep up basic things off the floor. Not to mention any other artificial intelligence you have in your household. Because you live in Canada, so I know they got that shit in there. We here in America, we got some of it, and it's going to probably be more advanced as time progresses. Outside America, I don't even start about the technology they have to make life easier. The point is this, baby, you're selfish. You're too entitled. You're lazy. Just admit it. Andrew's giving you this smoke, and he's laying a smack down on you. I'm not sure why you're fighting. You don't have it rough here. You have it easy. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, I agree. Jane, no. All right, let's keep going.
With household chores, that's ridiculous. And not only that, it's not laborious. As a famous comedian once said, any job you can do in your fucking pajamas can't be that hard.
Time.
Of course, that if it's not that hard, again, I'm going to tell men to do it. And there's a lot of women that keep telling men in their household, it's not hard to put the dishes in the dishwasher. It's a very small thing. It's not hard to put clothes in the laundry machine. Exactly. Then why don't you do it? You do it, right? But you don't. And you're like, oh, it's so hard. It's hard. Then you do it. If it's not, if it is so easy, you do it then. And this, you're wrong about it, that women are not putting in extra hours. Women in average families are working the same time. I'm talking about the average people here that work. Nope. Their men work the same hours, so do the women. Okay. And men don't do even taking care of the kids, disciplining kids is more women's responsibility. I literally used to babysit kids, and I would complain to the men, oh, that is the mother's department. Everything is a mother's department. I see those mothers running around. If you're going to do everything for your child and you're home alone and your partner is only there and not even paying your bills, you're better off alone. Why would you want to do that? And this is exactly the mindset women are thinking with now. Okay? They're thinking with that why am I going to do something extra for this person that doesn't even appreciate it and doesn't contribute anything? So
you're not doing anything extra. One, you're wrong. On the average, women are not working more on average than men. That's insanity. There's no way to demonstrate it because it's just functionally untrue. And you know why? It's because of occupational differences. It's literally because of occupational differences. In the trades, you're always probably going to work more hours than when you're in cubicles and in basic service work. That's just the way that it usually operates. That's why they're not going to be surpassing men in hours worked anytime soon or ever. Not only that, you say, why don't men do these things? Men do these things constantly. What are you talking about? If you go to a single man's apartment, most of the time, it's cleaner than a single woman's apartment. By the way, they do dishes. They do all of this stuff on behalf of themselves. When they're married, you have an appropriate splitting of duties. If the man is working full time, of course she needs to load the dishes. And of course she needs to take care of the household affairs. That's her fucking job. Rough gig. I know. Terrible gig. You have to get up at the crack of 10. Oh my God, you have to get up at the crack of 10 and do household chores. It's a rough life out there. Meanwhile, hubby's out the door at 4 o'clock in the morning and he's working until, I don't know, 6 o'clock at night half the time, bringing home overtime pay. You, on the other hand, ship out the kids to a public institution for most of your day. And by the time they get home, it's a couple hours before it's bedtime. The most you really got to deal with them is on the weekends. Just stop with the cope about how single moms have to put in so much work. It's like, just stop. And you end up having to speak out of both sides of your mouth anyway. So on the one hand, you say it's the hardest job ever, right? And then on the other hand, you have to then go and say, well, but the thing is it's not really the hardest job. It's like you can't even make up your mind here. Make up your mind. Is it the hardest job ever or isn't it?
Mahleej?
I'm saying, no, you're saying that it's not hard. You keep saying it's not hard. And I keep saying if it's not hard, then you do it. But what I was talking about was the unpaid labor, not the paid labor. Women work at least extra 40 to 60 hours. And that's not talking about working at somewhere else. No, it's about doing your chores, just managing and everything. Do you think the whole system is just working because men are doing that? In majority, yes. Women are the ones, no, women are the ones taking care of the household in majority of the time. This whole thing that, oh, men are doing this, no, they're lacking behind. A single man, yeah, a single man. Oh my God, I used to rent out rooms and I would say 80% of the men were disgusting. 10% of the men kept their house clean. I had another roommate, a 70-year-old man. He was so freaking disgusting. Okay, single man.
Cool anecdote, bro.
I'm talking about men that are in a relationship, in a marriage. They're not contributing. That's why you see women complaining. If they were doing it, why would we be complaining? Please tell me. If they were doing it, and we're literally tired. We're literally tired of raising an extra baby. It's like an extra baby.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I'll explain it. It's called solipsism. Yeah, it's called solipsism. It's due to solipsism. It's because you think the world revolves around you. Every time we talk about duties that women have, even towards their own children, even when we talk about, no, just the opposite. I'm saying it doesn't revolve around me. In fact, I'm saying that solipsism itself is bad. The idea of your own personal self-fulfillment over your children's welfare is a terrible mindset. But every time we go back to it, it's all about me, materialism, me, my fulfillment, me, my journey. It's all about you. And so here, this is the fundamental crux and the problem in which we have. Men have a duty, right, to keep their families together. Women feel no such obligation. This is why they're initiating these divorces, because they don't feel like they're getting enough out of it. By the way, again, there is no possible way for you to demonstrate that women are working an additional 60 hours a week on household chores. That's nuts. And it's not even true. Not only that, women can't even put in a fucking doorknob. They can't fix any of the electrical problems. They can't fix any of the plumbing. They don't do any of that shit. They just consider, I wonder if they, in any of these stats, they put any of that in there. Not only that, but let's point out the fact that all of society and all of its infrastructure is completely built by men. The occupational hazard distinction is so distinct that almost all job occupations or job occupational deaths are men, not women. For this reason.
Same arguments. Oh, men made this, men made that, men made. Some guy told me this, right? The last alpha man that I was dating told me this. We made you the dishwasher. I go search who created the dishwasher. It was a woman. The Wi-Fi that you are on using that. Also
women didn't make Wi-Fi. That's a lie.
Right? No, it is. And then there's so many discoveries that have been done by women. That DNA, that was another one that was taken by men because, you know, they like to steal stuff. The thing revolves around you. You keep saying that, oh, women didn't invent this. We are the ones that we're running the society, and it's not all about us. It is all about us. We want to control you, and we want to tell you how you should live, and you should listen to us because what we're saying is right for you. How you feel is totally not concerned. Like I'm going to say the same thing. It's better for a child to be with a stable parent with a stable mind than going crazy all the time or being unhappy or being depressed. I was just listening to a thing today, this woman that drowned her 2 kids. She was married, right? Like women are literally doing a lot of things that they can't because of having kids. And
yeah, and Casey Anthony was single. What's your point?
Losing their mind. Like you keep throwing me off. Whenever I'm talking, you just keep like, I don't know why you keep doing that. So again, I'm going to go back to my point that it is possible if you are separated Why can't you go see your kid? I know that if my child was ever taken away from me, I will do anything in my power to go see that kid. Why
And
these men, they don't want to see the kids.
time.
This is the whole bullshit that they go, oh, we're trying. I don't know about US, but in
Put
Canada
that
it's not the
over.
same.
Yeah. So
Okay, Andrew.
anyway, all lies again. If you're talking about the modern dishwasher, most definitely not invented by a woman, which is exactly what your ex was talking about. You're talking about an old handmade dishwasher from the 1800s, lady. Also, George Anthill was the one who invented Wi-Fi. An actress tried to steal credit for it and couldn't because she didn't know anything about engineering. She literally didn't know anything about engineering. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Not only that, yes, when we're talking about just the distinction in occupational hazards, why do you think that exists if men aren't the ones who are doing all of the infrastructure building? Why would you? How is it that men can have so much occupational death if what they did wasn't dangerous versus women who what they do is not dangerous, including basic things like law enforcement and military? You still always have to appeal to men for the very force for rights that you always try to make the claims to. Like, all these feminist talking points are pure garbage. They've been refuted 100 times. You have no leg to stand on. And every time we dive closer into the arguments, you come closer to my position than I come to yours. You still want to limit suffrage. You still want to limit these things. And you make the claim that single motherhood, right? Well, that's a conditional of tiredness and exhaustion, while at the same time saying, but
And
also it's the best thing that you can do, even though it's the hardest job ever, which would lead to more
time.
exhaustion. You talk out of both sides of your mouth constantly.
Oh my
You
God.
need to make
Okay,
up you need to
at
make
least
up
I'm
your mind on your
at
own
least
positions.
I'm talking from my mouth. You're talking from your behind. See, so don't like I don't.
All right. Somebody writes in the chat room. DNA by Curtis. DNA was discovered by a woman teaching students. She then took his stuff and used it. Okay. Didn't know that. What else was I say? Before they continue on, and the conversation is pretty good going back and forth. Let me knock out the voting part of this because I did promise I was going to read y'all what I found about the voting and women. Let's see. Now, she's a Canadian Pakistan woman, and we're in America. And she said about women have the right to vote. And a gentleman in the chat room said women should not vote. Okay. It says here, in comparison, women's voting rights were established in the United States and Canada. The U.S. states or United States women's right to vote, legal foundation by 19th Amendment in the Constitution, ratified August 26, 1920. Sorry, guys, hold on. 1920, right? The right of citizens in the United States to vote shall not be denied or abrogated by the United States or by the state on the accounts of sex. Movement origins, 1800s by Susan B. Anthony. We're not going to go into that. Skip that. Now for Canada. Let's see when you had the right to vote, ladies. Canada and a woman's rights to vote. Legal foundation. No single constitutional amendment rights were granted provided by province, then federally. Key milestones. Manitoba, first province to grant women the vote in 1916. Federal elections, women gained the right to vote federally in 1918. Indigenous women could not vote until 1960, when discriminatory laws were repealed. Movement origin, led by activists like Neil McCauley and Famous Five. So it seemed to me the barriers persistent for decades, Indigenous women to vote for the United States, but for Canada, the full right to vote was in 1960. So both countries were part in early ways of women's suffrage globally. If I had to pick which one, I think United States waited till Canada let their women vote. So I'm not sure what she's arguing about the right to vote. You ladies didn't start really get a chance to vote until last century. So stop it. All right, let's go. I said I dropped that information because I did say earlier in the stream I was going to read it out for y'all. So there you have it. Let's go.
understand. I told you, yeah, I agree with you because I'm with common sense. That's why I agreed with you. Yes, we can drop the we can raise the age for that. And I'm still gonna say you, yes, I agree with you that for a child, it's important for both parents to be there. But you over and over again, no, it's the women's fault. Now I said that is one thing. That is one thing that men are not putting enough. Then there's infidelity, there's cheating, there's other stuff too. There's alcoholism, there's drug use, there's so many other factors to it. I just told you one thing, and you just like, oh, I don't know. No, I'm not going back on my thing. I agree with you. But I'm just asking, where are these men? Where are these men? You just keep making excuses for them.
Getting
they go to
divorced by the
court,
women.
This and they don't get it. No, it's your child. You will make a way to go see your child. Okay, you can make a way to go date all these men, women, all these single men that have all this time to go see and date all these women. They don't have time for their own kids. They will make no way to go see their own kids. But they
All
have
right.
time for other things.
60 seconds for Andrew.
Nobody's saying that there aren't scumbag men out there. I would be the first to agree with you that there are some. But here's the thing: if you're the initiator of the divorce, it gives you time to plan. And so a lot of times men are getting blindsided with these divorces, pre-planned. Women already have a lawyer ready to go. And conventionally, the court has awarded custody to them because they are in the know, right? They were the ones who planned the entire thing out meticulously. And so you can't say, on the one hand, like, oh, he can only have Junior every other weekend, right? He can only have him every other weekend. You stripped him from his fatherly rights. And then at the same time, you're like, where are the men? Why aren't you paying enough support to me for
J-Mo said, there is a reason why she's no longer in Pakistan. Yeah, and you can see the reason why she's no longer in Pakistan, because she wants to move like a free, independent woman to do what the hell she wants to do. She wants to be in control, most likely. She wants to go somewhere and come back at any time without any question. She wants to be what they want to consider, or what the word that's floating around, a boss bitch. And most men of her culture, of her group, don't allow or create boss B chicks. And she knows this. That's why she's in Canada. Simple said. That was good, J-Mo. All right.
for me to live my luxurious lifestyle and raising the kid in the family I fucking destroyed by divorcing the father? Yeah, that's brilliant logic, lady. Not only that, let's point out a couple other things. You keep on saying I'm talking out of my ass. You were the one who just got done giving literally false information about how the person who made Wi-Fi was a woman, an actress with no engineering background really whatsoever. No, it was invented by a man, and she tried to take credit for it. And feminists have often tried to give her credit for it, but they can't. They can't, because she couldn't have made it. It's well known now she couldn't have. You're full of shit.
Well, maybe you want to go on Google and fix that, because when we Google all those things, it's something else. Or did feminism have something to do with that too? We bought Google and we changed everything.
Maybe you should actually read the stories you Google.
Yeah, we did that too. We did that.
Read the stories you Google, lady.
I'm gonna come back to the poor men. They get caught off guard. Oh my God, they didn't see it coming. Of course you don't see it coming, because you don't see it coming. You've been told to change that light bulb. Oh yeah, what were you saying, that I couldn't do a doorknob? I can run circles around you doing things. I've had men here that don't know how to fucking do shit, and I was the one fixing stuff. Not to talk about technology.
Yeah, right.
These today,
Yeah, right.
you might know it, but men in average don't know nothing about technology. They don't know anything smart, how it goes. They always ask me for help. Any man that
sure
I've
they do.
come across can't even change a light bulb. So I don't know where you're coming from, that women can't do this, women can't do that.
I'll kick it over to Andrew.
Well, here, let me just ask you a couple of basic questions. How do you know what type of wattage light bulb you're supposed to use in a light bulb fixture? How do you know what watt you're supposed to use?
You see it on the bulb before, when you...
No, how do you know the watt? How do you know what watt light bulb to use? Not what wattage the light bulb is, what wattage you're supposed to use for the fixture you're putting it in. How do you know?
There's only few ones that you can use. Either it is the 40, 60, or 100, depending on...
Yeah, how do you know which one you should use? How do you know which one you should use?
Because it's only minimum. Like, you can use it from 40 to 100.
How do you know which one you should use, though? You don't know, do you?
What do you mean? How do you know which one to use?
How about this? Here's a basic question.
In a light fixture, in a lamp, I know I have to put a bulb. I go and... I don't understand.
Here's a super duper basic question. Okay, super basic. What is a band saw?
Some kind of bandsaw. I don't know.
What's a
Yeah.
sawzall?
A saw?
A sawzall.
A sawzall? I don't know. No.
You don't know.
No.
Okay. How many colors are on the wires that are going to the outlet that are in your wall right now?
Maybe 3, 4.
Maybe 6, 7.
Well,
Like, you don't know.
Why does it
Like,
matter?
well, because when you make these, every feminist I talk to always pretends that they're Shira and can do all sorts of basic tasks around their house, and the men are so incompetent they can't do it. And then I ask them basic questions, and they don't know shit about nothing. Like, let me ask you an easy one. Here's the easiest one I can think of off the top of my head. How would you go about replacing a doorknob?
Very easy. You buy a lock. You need a screwdriver, 2 screws. That's it.
Yeah. How do you replace the knob itself?
What do you mean the knob?
Yeah. Like,
What do you
walk me
mean
through
knob?
it.
It's a handle, right? The handle, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It comes apart and then you put it up there.
You just grab a
Anyways,
random one at the store.
I am
You just
not
grab a random one at
here
the store.
I am not random one from the store. No, I have common sense. When I take out something, I take that to the store and I say, okay, this is what I need. This is what I say. This is what I need. This is the type of battery I need. The thing is that I might not know all this stuff, but when I need to fix something, I can Google it. I can YouTube it. I have done a lot of things around my house. I don't get into electrical because I don't want to die. So I get an electrician, but whether it
Who's going to be a man?
sorry. Yeah. So
I'm just pointing it out.
every man is an electrician, so even for a man has to hire another man to come do the electric work, okay? By a licensed electrician, which you should be doing. Doesn't matter you're a man or a woman. But the men that I've had working up here, or the men that I have done more work. I know more things than them around the house, because none of them owned the damn house in their 40s because they were so freaking broke, right? Because they made their life choices. Right,
Yeah.
their life
Just
choices.
all pure
that they were
solipsism.
in their 40s and didn't even know. Literally, my baby daddy went. I was shocked. He took a wet cloth, went to go change a light bulb. Guess what? Blew everywhere. This is a man for you. You know what you're talking about? The men of today. Do you think they know anything? They know nothing.
Yeah, they do, especially in our age bracket. They know a lot.
They don't know nothing. Ask a man to do anything around the house.
Well, I wouldn't ask you. You don't even know what a bandsaw is. Why?
Yeah, baby, if you are in beds or in relationship with a man that doesn't even know, let's say basic. Matter of fact, I'll say this in defense of the ladies. If you're gonna deal with a dude, make sure he has some tools. I mean, I got tools. I mean, I need some more tools for certain things, but if you're dealing with a man and he doesn't have a basic screw, hammer, or essential tools that normal men should have around his house anyway, then you're dealing with a man that doesn't know the basic to fix simple stuff. That is on you, sweet, not the man. You can easily spot out the dudes that might know how to fix them and may do it well, or might not know how to do nothing, or you might come across a man that doesn't really fix nothing at all. The choice is yours. And when you're going to know that is you got to absorb what he has already in disposal. And you could simply know that what he keeps around his room, his apartment, or even his car. End the story. Anybody agree or disagree with me? Let me know. Let's go.
I'm going to ask you to do anything around anything.
The minute I need to use it, I will know. But
No,
right
then
now,
you'll
I don't
know.
need to use it.
You'll get the Google machine. It'll teach you.
Any last?
You're muted right now.
You're,
I can't hear you.
And sorry, my name is Molly, not N, but it's just I think I signed in with my friend's thing. I'm just saying, if I was to ask you here, do you know this shade of this MAC lipstick? Will you know it? No, you wouldn't know it unless you want to use it, right? I have every single tool up there. Every time I have needed something, I go buy it. Then I get to know about it.
Okay.
You're always learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just pointing out to you that there's a reason. There's a reason.
That I know more than lots of men in today's age. They don't know shit. They're useless.
Yeah, I would make the exact opposite claim. I'd say they're the only ones who know anything, and you don't know shit. But the thing is like ultimately, as we dive into this, right, you still haven't refuted any of my arguments here, and you're still closer to my position than I am to yours. If it is the case that we should limit suffrage, right, based on the meritocracy of the person, we're already ruling out 18. Where should we put it? Is 26, 27, does that sound pretty good to you?
No, I personally think as soon as you start contributing, and then it also varies, right? Like now some people start working at 18. So as long as you're contributing towards a society, I think there has to be a limit to it. I
So
don't
now
know.
you're changing your
I
position.
would say when, you know, your brain is fully developed, probably around 23, 24. But then again, these are some things that we can talk about. And I'm nowhere near your position. You want to bring the back in the days. I'm not saying I want to go back in the days. I already lived in the back in the days. I came to the future when I moved to Canada, and I like it like this. I don't want to live in the 7th century.
Do you know that even
So-
feminist theorists make the claim that tradition are experiments which worked, right? That's what tradition is. An appeal to tradition is you're appealing to experiments in society which worked. What I'm showing you is that we had a bunch of experiments which worked. We had intact households, and we had children who are way better adjusted than children are now due to those intact households. We can look at this data from the past so that we can learn what our future looks like. Our future is very bleak. Our reproduction rates are under replacement. And due to your idea of liberation, we're going to have to bring in hordes of immigrants into our nations that don't necessarily share our values just to keep our population up. And it's women who are the primary advocates for this. This is a really stupid system. And you still have not made a good argument for why it is that men shouldn't just usurp your right to vote altogether and just say you just shouldn't have it. You just shouldn't. And it's not like you could do anything about it. So what's the actual argument for why you ought to have it? Why ought you be able to vote if women collectively, when they vote, make terrible fucking decisions when it comes to society? Why should men allow you to vote?
I don't know. I don't know. Like women, I don't know why you're saying that. I think it's more like white women. Because when you were talking about the reproduction, yeah, no, women are not having kids.
Have you
And
looked at
then
the abortion
fact that-
rates of black women?
Hang on a second. Don't please.
Okay.
I think with reproduction, the way it is going, I think you will bounce back. It's not that. I don't want you guys to be taken over by your
It's been doing this since the
immigrants.
1800s. It's been doing this since the 1800s.
I know, but Andrew, my whole point is the way that you guys are trying to get women to have kids. Do you think it's going to work? I don't think so. Women don't want to have kids anymore because women have realized kids are liability. They are a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you here. Like Andrew says, it's all easy. After, like you were saying, 8 hours there in school while I'm at work at that 8 hours. So I'm not like out there partying it out, right? And then I have to come back and do all the other things. So
So pure
I don't
solipsism.
understand this. Like women don't want to have kids anymore. It's too much. And then for you to keep forcing them that no, you have to have kids. You better serve the husband. You
Didn't say
better
they had
do
to.
this. No, this is not going to.
I never made a claim that they have to do anything.
This is not going to lead women to have more kids. That's why you're seeing.
According to
that-
you, nothing is. According to you, nothing's going to lead them to having more kids. And so ultimately,
No, it's not. 'Cause
you
it's
just got done
not-
saying, hang on, lady. You just got done saying that kids are a liability and women don't
Yeah.
want to have kids because they're too much work and they're too much of a liability. So why have them at all? This is what I'm talking about by your pure solipsism or your view of everything is self, right? What about your duties? Do women have any greater duty to society? Do they have a single greater duty to society? Just one. Can you give me one?
Yeah, we have duty. We've been doing our duties. We contribute to the society all the time. We are the sole caretakers of the whole, kids. We're the ones that have been
You're not the
taking
sole
care of the
caretaker.
kids, right?
What are
Who has
duty?
been who has been taking care of the kids back in the days? or
Men
throughout
are taking
history?
care of men.
A man
Yes.
men at work. Who was that only taking care of the kids?
Listen,
Not
women have children. Women.
Physically, who
Okay.
takes care of the kids?
I'm going to explain it. Okay, it is actually men.
Please answer me. Physically,
Men.
Oh,
Women.
men stay
Yes,
at
I'll
home?
explain it. Yes.
breastfeed. You believe in men
No,
breastfeeding?
I
the
didn't say
kids?
they breastfeed.
Sure?
Would you let me qualify now so that you understand?
No, I
Yes, it's
asked you,
true.
who
And I
physically
answered
takes
your question. Now I'm qualifying it. I said men, and now I'm going to qualify it. So yes, in the very vulnerable years, because women are also vulnerable, they rely on men for protection. They literally rely on men for protection and status in society. Hordes of other men can just come take you away from Canada tomorrow, lady, if men weren't there with guns to scare them the fuck off. Men are responsible for the protection. Because of that, it's a greater duty that they have to society to protect it. Because women are the vulnerable sex, children in their vulnerable years are indeed stuck to a woman's chest. That's correct. But as they get older and get off the teat, the responsibility still shifts over to the man. He's still responsible for their health, their welfare, their well-being, their nest egg, their future, their dynasty, all of the things that would create cross-generational wealth. Those resources come from the father almost exclusively. Even in modernity, it's mostly men who set up cross-generational wealth, not women. So yes, it's men who are taking care of the kids ultimately. And they're making sure that society can function through defense so women can even breastfeed at all. Not only that, but can we just point out really quickly that you did not give a greater duty that women have? You say take care of the kids. How are you going to take care of kids if they don't fucking have any, lady?
Well, it's not like we have been doing that duty, right? Like, but it's still not enough. Like we were being forced to do that duty, basically. You yourself.
You know, oh guys, please support the channel, hit the super chat or cash app. Like always, with the super chats, $20 more, you get a special video thank you super chat on the air. And even less, you know, you get a normal video. Also, please like the stream. Do you guys believe this woman is comfortable being mother? Is she really happy being a single mother? Because from what I'm listening so far, she make it seem that being a mother, a single mother, is a death sentence. This is the thing I'm getting at from her personally. And she's keep constantly drilling in about the slavery and being, you know, a mother. I think it's me. And let me read this. This woman said she had child. Yes, she has a child. JMO, she does. All right, I see you guys talking about some electronics. All right.
To respond,
Okay.
and then
What you were talking about, that we're evil, we could be evil. There's certain history you can see some women
Of what you have to have in order to have a nation. Can you tell me what
is for reproduction?
Okay.
Right.
So you have a duty. You have a duty to reproduce.
I totally agree. But
so do you have a duty to reproduce?
I don't. And in 2025, I don't. No.
Well, then what is the duty that women do have? What duty do women actually have a greater duty? Like men, we can be conscripted. We can be, hang on. Let me give you an example. Men can be conscripted against their will to go fight wars on behalf of their nation. Right this second. In my country, I can be conscripted to go fight a war on behalf of my nation. The Ukraine right now, they're being conscripted to fight wars on behalf of their nation. If
guys,
that is a greater duty,
well, I'm at work at that 8 hours. So I'm not like out there partying it out, right? And then I have to come back and do all the other things. So, and sorry, my name is Molly, not N, but it's just I think I signed it with my friend's thing. I'm just saying, if I was to ask you here, do you know this shade of this MAC lipstick? Will you know it? No, you wouldn't know it unless you want to use it, right? I have every single tool up there. Every time I have needed something, I go buy it. Then I get to know about it.
Okay.
You're always learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just pointing out to you that there's a reason. There's a reason.
That I know more than lots of men in today's age.
Stupid system. And you still have not made a good argument for why it is that men shouldn't just usurp your right to vote altogether and just say you just shouldn't have it. You just shouldn't. And it's not like you could do anything about it. So what's the actual argument for why you ought to have it? Why ought you be able to vote if women collectively, when they vote, make terrible fucking decisions when it comes to society? Why should men allow you to vote?
I don't know. I don't know. Like women, I don't know why you're saying that. I think it's more like white women. Because when you were talking about the reproduction, yeah, no, women are not having kids.
Have you
And
looked at
then
the
the fact
abortion
that-
rates of black women?
Hang on a second. Don't please.
Okay.
I think with reproduction, the way it is going, I think you will bounce back. It's not that. I don't want you guys to be taken over by your
It's been doing this since the
immigrants.
1800s. It's been doing this since the 1800s.
I know, but Andrew, my whole point is the way that you guys are trying to get women to have kids. Do you think it's going to work? I don't think so. Women don't want to have kids anymore because women have realized kids are liability. They are a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you here. Like Andrew says, it's all easy. After, like you were saying, 8 hours there in school while I'm at work at that 8 hours. So I'm not like out there partying it out, right? And then I have to come back and do all the other things. So like
So pure
I don't
solipsism.
understand this. Like women don't want to have kids anymore. It's too much. And then for you to keep forcing them that no, you have to have kids, you better serve the husband. You
Didn't say
better
they had
do
to.
it. No, this is not going to.
I never made a claim that they have to do anything.
This is not going to lead women to have more kids. That's why you're seeing.
According to
that.
you, nothing is. According to you, nothing's going to lead them to having more kids. And so ultimately,
it's not 'cause
you
it's
just got done
like-
saying, hang on, lady, you just got done saying that kids are a liability and women don't want to have kids because they're too much work and they're too much of a liability. So why have them at all? This is what I'm talking about by your pure solipsism or your view of everything is self, right? What about your duties? Do women have any greater duty to society? Do they have a single greater duty to society? Just one. Can you give me one?
Yeah, we have duty. We've been doing our duties. We contribute to the society all the time. We are the sole caretakers of the whole, kids. We're the ones that have been
You're not the
taking
sole
care of the
caretaker.
kids, right?
What are
Who has
duty?
been who has been taking care of the kids back in the days?
Men
throughout
are
history?
taking care of men.
A man
Yes.
men at work. Who was that only taking care of the kids?
Listen,
Not
women have children. Women.
Physically, who takes
Okay.
care of the kids?
I'm going to explain it. Okay, it is actually men.
Please answer me. Physically,
Men.
Oh,
Women.
men stay
Yes,
at
I'll
home
explain it.
breastfeed.
Yes.
You believe in men
No,
breastfeeding?
I
the
didn't say
kids?
they breastfeed.
Sure?
Would you let me qualify now so that you understand?
No, I
Yes, it's
asked you,
true.
who
And I
physically
answered
takes
your question. Now I'm qualifying it. I said men, and now I'm going to qualify it. So yes, in the very vulnerable years, because women are also vulnerable, they rely on men for protection. They literally rely on men for protection and status in society. Hordes of other men can just come take you away from Canada tomorrow, lady, if men weren't there with guns to scare them the fuck off. Men are responsible for the protection. Because of that, it's a greater duty that they have to society to protect it. Because women are the vulnerable sex, children in their vulnerable years are indeed stuck to a woman's chest. That's correct. But as they get older and get off the teat, the responsibility still shifts over to the man. He's still responsible for their health, their welfare, their well-being, their nest egg, their future, their dynasty, all of the things that would create cross-generational wealth. Those resources come from the father almost exclusively. Even in modernity, it's mostly men who set up cross-generational wealth, not women. So yes, it's men who are taking care of the kids ultimately. And they're making sure that society can function through defense so women can even breastfeed at all. Not only that, but can we just point out really quickly that you did not give a greater duty that women have? You say take care of the kids. How are you going to take care of kids if they don't fucking have any, lady?
Mhm. Well, it's not like we have been doing that duty, right? Like, but it's still not enough. Like we were being forced to do that duty, basically, in a way.
Oh my God.
And then you again, I was talking about physically, who stays home. You yourself say it, that it's better for women to stay home to raise the
During
kids,
the vulnerable years, yes.
to shape up the society, right? All
Yes.
these women have been doing that for centuries, thousands of centuries. They've been doing that. Yes, you have been protecting us. Why? Because men are violent creatures and they will come and kill a human being who is pregnant, right? Because only men can do that, right? Only men can do it.
No, women
So
can do
you're
it too,
only
but men do
protecting
do it.
Yes, don't forget, women have the capability to create acts of deletion as well, especially in America. It's actually risen lately because even with the thing with Shakari Richardson incident, I guarantee you, if she was left unabated with no accountability, she has the capability to really delete a lot of men, particularly some black men, because I don't think she's messing around outside black men last time I checked. But let's say she does. She has the capability, she will take a dude's life. I believe cold hard Shakari Richards has that capability now. One guy writes, let me see a comment. Wait, is that you, Shannon? Wait, make sure it's Shannon. Let me double check. Wait, let me check. How has she not figured this out? It's obvious children men, feminism has lower IQ drastically. Oh, yeah. Let me double check if that's you, Shannon. Let me keep playing. Curious.
But again, back to my point. If a woman that is pregnant and does not take care of her body or takes something poisonous and kills that child, then what? Then your protection doesn't matter. Your anything doesn't matter. You have to, that 9 months that child is in my belly, it's my responsibility. You can come, you can take care of me, but it all depends on my physical thing. If I am not okay, that kid's not going to survive, right? This is what you guys keep forgetting, that we do have a duty. We do want to do our duty, but we don't want to be forced to do our duty. And
what is your duty?
All I'm here for is that I, as a woman, want to.
But what is the duty, though? Can you answer that? Right? What is the duty? What is the duty? Our duty of some women, right? Let's look at it in two ways. If we were to talk about in evolution way and why we are here and why we're given these, obviously is for reproduction. Okay. Right. So you have a duty. You have a duty to reproduce.
I totally agree. But
so do you have a duty to reproduce?
I don't. And in 2025, I don't know.
Well, then what is the duty that women do have? What duty do women actually have? A greater duty? Like men, we can be conscripted. We can be. Hang on. Let me give you an example.
Okay, guys, I'm back where I was when I accidentally jumped out of the studio. So this is the time frame we are now. We're almost 2 hours into this discussion. So I'd have quick give you a reminder. What's good, Shannon? I see you in the building. Hoo-ah! Thank you for showing up. Let's keep going.
Men can be conscripted against their will to go fight wars on behalf of their nation. Right this second, in my country, I can be conscripted to go fight a war on behalf of my nation. The Ukraine right now, they're being conscripted to fight wars on behalf of their nation. If that is a greater duty that men have to the nation, what do women have like that? What?
Well, first of all, it's the men that are doing the wars. So that's why men have to go there. If they weren't doing the wars, then we wouldn't have to go there because men like to just fight, egos. Secondly, yes, women are in healthcare, like you were saying. Women are the educators. Women are taking care of running the childcare. We have a lot of.
Do they have a duty to do those things?
We have a lot of roles in the society.
I'm not talking about your roles. Why don't you understand what I'm asking? Stop. No, you're not answering my question. I'm not asking about. Yeah, but you're misinterpreting the question. I'm going to have to ask it again. I'm not asking what roles women can do. I'm not asking you that. I'm not asking if women can be nurses, or even if they are nurses, or even if they love being nurses. I'm asking if they have a duty to be a nurse. Just like I have a duty to fight and defend my nation if the call of duty comes up. What duty do women have that's like that? Not what things do women do. That's not what I'm asking you.
Well, as a duty, I would say my duty before that I have to have kids, and that's my first duty, is to be a human being, a good human being, and, contribute to the society that I'm living in, right? That's my priority.
Don't you agree that men have that same duty?
Hang on. But you as a man only see me as a uterus, right? That's the whole problem. There's women out there that don't want to have kids. They don't see it as a duty.
So they don't have a duty.
I was born a woman, now I have to have a kid. Why?
Okay. I don't know why you want to answer you keep asking me questions. I keep trying to answer them.
I'm not asking you. I was just saying that. Hang on, let me finish this one last thing, right? You guys keep complaining about oh my God, our civilization is coming to an end. It all depends if you want to be moral or immoral, right? It all depends, if you're religious or not. But, you can have surrogates, you can have women, or I put 100 women aside. Go have kids. Go nuts. You want kids. You want civilization. What is the purpose? Or you want the civilization and you want the family system and all that along with it, right? It does come down to it. But your civilization is not going to end because the way the future is going to be different. Do you not know soon we're going to be having artificial embryos? We're going towards the robots thing. I don't know where you're sitting, Andrew. We're going towards the robots. I can't.
So let me get this straight, because that's where the society is heading. Okay. Granted. What is the purpose for you as a woman now if society that is constructed and built by men, last time I checked, will you serve now if they go fully artificial womb? You ladies will be pretty much fuck out here. Literally. You'll be screwed out here. You don't want a society where it goes where you are no longer meant for that purpose also. Because last time I checked, men out here in America, I can't speak for Canada because that's where she lives, right? Men out here really, if I want to be honest, are not dating like that. Hell, some of them are not going to events looking for women like that. A good portion of the male population in America. Hell, a lot of you women say that most of these dudes are not even checking for y'all to the point where they're not even going out there and shooting a shot. That's how toxic this society has become. So you really want to think as a woman that the ultimate route is to go to the artificial womb. You know that is a death sentence to a lot of modern Western women today. You don't want society or the people that's in charge go fully route where now you are not necessary for a womb. Personally. So you better be wise in the words you're saying, sweetie. Regardless if you have a kid or not. Personally. Just saying. I'm just saying. Anyhow, let's keep going, man.
Wait to get myself a robot. I swear to God, that's the best investment.
No.
I think.
So okay, well, I mean, I wouldn't wish for that, because if there's artificial wombs in society, and society can reproduce itself, without having wombs, I don't know what you think happens to the status of women, but it isn't going to be very good for you. Not only that, but let us just point out very quickly that when I asked for what a greater duty was, you gave me descriptors of things that women like. That's not a duty. When I ask you, are they obliged to do these things? Must they do them? Do they have a duty to do them? You say no, they don't. You can't point to a single duty you think women have in modernity. Things they must do, even if they don't want to. Men don't want to get conscripted and go to war. They must, even if they don't fucking want to. They must go do that. Do you believe women have any duty that's like that to society? A thing that they must do even if they don't like it?
Yeah, in a society, we're all contributing. We're trying to be good people. We're trying to teach people.
That's men and women. What about women specifically? I'm asking about women specifically.
Listen to me. We have to go to war. You guys can stand up and you guys can say, we don't want to go to war. You gotta have to fight.
And then the country dies. Then the country dies.
Again, these are your menly problems, right? You created them.
We created them. I created them.
Created system. Your little ego got turned. You press a button, you start a war. Like, look at all what's happening. That little Zelensky, his ego's hurt, so he's fucking getting all his soldiers killed. I'm all against that.
So wait a second. So let me get this right. Again, if bad men want to attack us, do you want good men to fight them? If bad men want to take over Canada, the place you currently, I guess, are in, because the Canadian flag, if bad men come in, want to take that over, do you want good men to stop him? Do you want them to? Yeah, okay. So then that seems like there's an implied duty there that men have because of the need of what you have to have in order to have a nation. Can you tell me what that same thing is that applies only to women? Don't give me something that men and women both have to be good people. They both do. What is equal to that applies to women only as a duty? What?
Well, if you were to ask me today, yeah, I guess we have a duty to be a decent human being and contribute into the society. That's our duty.
Don't men have that duty too?
I don't know. I guess, yeah, you should.
Okay,
have a
well then
union.
what woman only duty,
Not like
what woman specific duty do you have then? Woman specific,
so
not men and women.
I know. You keep saying that over and over again.
Yeah, can you
I
tell
know
me what it
our
is?
duty- You think our duty is only to give birth.
Don't
It's
tell
not
me
in
what I
20
think. Answer my question. What do
not in
women
20
have a duty or not to do anything?
Yeah, I told you. Yeah.
What?
We
What?
should be good people to the society. If we were
Yeah.
evil
Okay,
bitches,
I'm going to try
you
this
guys-
again.
oh my
I'm going to
God.
try this again because I think you just maybe just don't understand. I don't know how many times I can rephrase
No, I
this.
can-
You and I both agreed that men have a specific duty that only men can serve the function in. Do
Uh-huh.
women specific? It's a woman only duty. Only women can do this, right?
Mhm.
Can you name one that they have that's the equivalent of that? Can you name it? Anything. I'll take anything that
Our
is
duty-
woman specific.
Our duty as women is not to be evil and be empathetic. So don't go around.
Well, don't you think that's a duty of men too? Don't you think that's a duty of men too?
No, men don't do that.
We have a
That's
duty.
why men commit more crime. You guys are more violent. You have more pedos. You guys are more.
Yeah, but don't you
rapists.
think we shouldn't? But don't you
You
think we
guys are-
shouldn't? Don't you think we have a duty to not do those things?
You should, but you
Yeah,
don't.
right. Okay, so then that's a shared duty.
You know,
What's
this is
a
not-
woman specific duty that's on par with the man specific duty of defense of the nation? What?
That duty is created by you men yourself. We didn't create that duty for you.
So
You created it
nothing.
for yourself.
You can't name anything. Lady, you can't name anything.
No, I told you we're good citizens and we're not evil.
To answer this question, who are they even interviewing? This chick, who is she? This chick, from what I've noticed, with a little digging, she goes around as some type of feminist prophet. Now, what I mean by feminist prophet, I would assume, and don't quote me, she's predicting the future of women. And in her rhetoric, and someone can correct me in the comment section at the end of this video if they made this far, that women are at a good spot. They don't need to be around men, much less, need a man. And she's anticipating that artificial intelligence and robotic stuff are the ways of the future, and women should be more secure and protected, that these things are gone much obsolete man entirely. That's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong. Because if you go around as a prophet, you're prophesizing of what is considered the good for one sex and the demise of the other. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting, but I could be wrong. But let's go.
Because if we
We're not
acted like,
evil.
if we acted like men, like we are
Yeah.
sometimes now, men don't really like it. But
Yeah, how many babies have women killed in the last 30 years? Yeah, you're not evil. How many babies have women killed in the last 30 years? You want to take a gander?
I don't know. How many
Yeah, I'm
men
sure
have
you
killed
don't.
babies? How many men have gone and raped little kids? Like, come on, can you
How
do
many
that?
women have? They do it in school all the time.
Not as many as men.
Oh, they do it in school all the time. And when you look at the metrics, they
Pretty
take.
sure there is. I'm sure there is, but men,
Yeah.
you can say, are more. Men actually abuse men too. Okay?
Women actually abuse women too, and men. What are you talking about? And they do it when they're at the vulnerable age, when they're children. They do
There's
it when
more
they're
men.
children. But even if that was the case, even if it was the case that more men did evil thing than women, descriptively that was true, you would still agree they both had a duty to not do those things? And I would agree with that. So what I'm asking you for is, since men actually have a specific duty based on just their genetics, the fact that they have a penis and are stronger than women to defend the nation, to give me the equivalent thing that women have. What is it?
Same, I'm gonna tell you the same thing. It's not, I don't think it's a man's duty to go and be in the, serve in the army. I don't think so. Forcing a man to
Then
go
why do
that,
you
and
want
let
them
me
to?
finish my point is ridiculous. Again, that's a man-made whole thing. Okay, as a human being, you should be decent, which you men are not. We're more empathetic. That's why we're not committing all these crimes, which you men are.
You
Even
kill your
though
own
you
children,
know-
dude. You kill
Even
your own
though
kids.
you know know that you shouldn't. You can argue that women are doing it. I'm not denying it, but there's more men doing it. There's more men in
There's
the
not more
prison,
men killing their own kids than
there's
women.
more serial killer men.
No.
There's all kinds of data on this. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and you know what? There's a lot.
People.
And here's the thing: when we do the gathering of this data, especially when you take into rape statistics and things like this, here's what we find: that they take things like non-penetrative acts as not being rape. That it's not SA when women do the exact same thing to a woman that a woman does to a man that's not counted as rape. The thing is that ultimately I can make a really good case that when it comes to sexual assault, women are actually the primary perpetrators of it, not men. And it's just not reported by the men as being sexual assault. Not only that, let's point out a couple other things. Don't talk to me about how women aren't evil when they have 1 million abortions a year. That's fucking evil. Also, you still haven't actually named a primary duty that women have in society at all. Only shared duties that you believe men and women both should have. And that's the problem. You don't feel like women have any greater duty to society other than whatever the fuck they want that makes them feel good. Whatever makes them feel good, that's their duty. Even the not being evil is just part of a feel-good plan. You should not be evil because it makes you feel good. That's the only justification you could ever give me for anything because, you know, you don't believe in Sky Daddy, right?
Give you the last word, Mahleej, but I do want to mention we're going to go into the Q&A in just a minute. So I'll give you about a minute or so to respond.
Okay.
And then
what you were talking about, that we're evil, we could be evil. There's certain history you can see some women can be evil. However, we're not. We choose not to. Otherwise, we are the ones cooking for you. All these husbands would be dropping dead. Okay, it's very easy to you get it. There was aqua tufana, I think it was in the 1800s that woman used, and all these husbands were dropping dead. So no, we do have a duty, but we don't have the duty that a man wants us to do in 2025. I'll still stick to that as a human being, as a citizen of Canada, I have a duty to be here. And yes, if there was a time that there was some kind of danger, I will be out there also trying to protect whoever I can, because I think as a human being, that's my responsibility. It's not like, oh, it's a man or a woman. Again, you're wrong on the whole thing that men are not raping more. Actually, with women too, when those statistics are put in there, you don't know. They're all counting as sexual assault. You don't know which one was rape. You don't know which one was groping, which one was what. So they're all grouped in together. But the data says that it's mostly men that do this. I'm not going to deny, but you're going to deny. And for the longest time, men...
I have good evidence against it.
Hang on. And lastly, I'm going to finish with this whole thing that in religions and throughout history, you have seen that women have been sex slaved, used as sex slaves and little kids, and gotten married to underage kids throughout history. It's first time in our history that we have actually a legit 18 years old where you can get married to an 18-year-old. Otherwise, all our grandmothers were married at 12 or 13 not too long ago. Thank you.
we're going to jump into the Q&A, but I want to say a couple of quick things. First,
Don't we get
if
a
our
closing
guests need to
statement?
use... What's that?
Don't we get closing statements?
If you guys would like closings, we can do that.
Yeah, I would like mine.
In fact, this might be a good opportunity. If either of you have to use the restroom while the other one is giving their closing, because we do have a good amount of questions here for the Q&A, we will start with Mahleej. The floor is all yours for your closing. What do you guys think? Minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes?
Yeah, I think a couple of minutes is fine.
Mahleej, go ahead. A couple of minutes.
Oh, as they give their little close statements, let me do this quickly to knock this out the way, because my junk did act up a little bit. Guys, what it is, it is. Support the channel.
I want my money. I told you. Where is my money? Betty, bring me everyone.
I need my money. I need my money.
What do you mean everyone?
All right, hold on, guys. Damn, that's why I like when my thing kind of dropped out. Okay, so guys, please support the channel. Super chat with the Cash App. I'm gonna hear the closing statements, and then maybe I call this a day. Because really, truly, this debate, I think, in my matter of fact, I'm gonna let them close out and then give my statement. Let's go.
I just want to thank you and also Andrew for taking this time to come ahead and have these conversations with me. Why I advocate for certain things is because I have lived into that society, the religious society, where women actually don't have rights. We see that every day happening. It might not be happening here. You know, few years ago, if you were to ever ask, all these Pakistani guys would be like, "Oh, you never say anything to the Canadian white men," and I'm like, "No, because white men are different. You know, they're different. They're not like this. They're not like this." But I've seen a shift. In the past 3 years, and I dated somebody, and I've always dated white guys, and I was just like, I was looking at this man, and I'm like, "Are you sure you're not Muslim? Are you sure you don't want to move to like Afghanistan with his mentality?" So I'm just seeing this shift that is happening. And it is not good. Like, I totally believe there should be a little balance. White women do go nuts. Like, I'm not going to lie. They tell me that I'm Islamophobe because I'm criticizing Islam. And a woman defending Islam is like KFC defending chicken. You know what I mean? It's just, I just don't get it. So I totally understand where you're coming from. My whole point is that this whole argument, this fight between the sexes, it's not going to end well if we just keep throwing names at each other like I see online. And I totally get it why Twitter is that way or X is that way, because you're rage baiting and you're doing this and you got to bring, those OnlyFans models and Instagram models because that's where you get the views. You're not going to bring like none up there. So we totally get it where you're going up there. But how is it going to affect the society? The hatred that you're building about women in men's heart, that is something already there. The incel community is already there. Men are already lonely, and you're pushing them even more away. Even the ugly guys are not being assholes to women, and women are just like, okay, no, we're not even going to deal with it. I'm telling you this, that women are literally saying that we're done. We don't even want to date. We don't want to have kids.
That's false. If the man is ugly to the woman is not gonna give that man attention. It's that simple. I'm not sure what world she lives in. Last time I checked, I don't think that's an accurate statement she just made. Boy, this downhill. All right, let's keep going.
And I don't think that is a good thing. That is not a good thing for the society. What we need to do is we need to have more of conversations and not take like literally human rights away. You can't control anyone. You can ask and you can be nice. And if that person loves you, they might submit themselves. But you cannot be like, oh, submit and serve me and I'm going to do whatever I want. It won't work that way. Thank you.
It's really funny. She says it won't work that way, and then says, but in my country of origin, it works that way just fine. Right? Literally works that way, and there's nothing they can do about it.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It's working right this second. It is a country, and they do it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
We'll give it to two.
What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything. You just come to the West, where Christians are very gracious to you, and you shit all over them. Anyway. Thing is back to the, it's my closing, lady, it's my closing. I didn't interrupt your closing. Don't interrupt my closing statement.
You have to give
Andrew
the
closing
2 minutes.
lady.
Over Christians. Don't put words in my mouth.
You did. You called it Sky Daddy. You called it Sky Daddy. Don't pretend you're not shitting on Christians.
Sky Daddies. Why do you
give me a break?
I'm calling Allah Sky Daddy.
Yeah, you meant some other Sky. When you say you believe in Sky Daddy, you think I think you're referencing the Islamic God. That's some real high IQ shit there. Anyway, so my closing statement, we'll just go through it. Yes, men do all the infrastructure jobs. She was completely wrong on that. I have the stats in front of me. It's not even close. There's been an estimated 63 million abortions to date. I think it's actually probably significantly higher than that. When she says women aren't evil, that's hilarious. 9 out of 10 kids in juvenile facilities report essay and say it was perpetrated by a female staff member. 68% of maltreated children are abused by female caregivers. Women are more likely to abuse when they have power overwhelmingly in comparison to men. I have stat after stat after stat refuting this. This woman is out of her mind with this stuff. She doesn't understand what she's even talking about. Also, when I asked her, do women have any greater duty, which is on par to conscription, that men would have to go and defend the nation, she couldn't do anything but give me shared duties. And then she switched her argument twice. First, she said, I do believe that men should go and defend us from bad men. They have a duty to do that. And then she switched it and said, no. I mean, I would go fight on the front lines with men too. It's like, come on, you ain't fighting over anything except what type of blush to get next week. Also, let's point out a couple of other interesting facts, right? As we went through this debate or refuted basically every single argument that she had. She never refuted any of mine. She did agree with me that suffrage needs to be limited. Then she backed up on that view when she realized the implications of it, right? Feminism has been a massive failure. She can't even make any prescriptive claims for what's good to society except to say and appeal to men and say, if you were just nicer to us, we would do more stuff for you. But when we started to hone in on that, she also said, no, actually children are a liability. Very anti-natalist position. Actually, children are a liability. So women are checking out. It has nothing actually to do with whether or not they're mistreated by men. She says, actually, ugly men are treating women good and they still just check out. So she contradicts her position every 5 seconds. There's no consistency from this woman at all on her own positions. She never refuted my arguments. She never showed how her society is better than the one we came from. And also, when we moved back and I showed her in mental illness factors that you had way more well-adjusted children just going back 60 years ago and 70 years ago than you do right now in these two-parent households, that contradicted her statement of the abuse of the mother. You know what I mean? It's just one contradiction after another. All right, I yield.
We're going to jump into the Q&A. Thanks for your questions, folks. This first one.
All right. Hold on, that was good. Dr. Kins, thank you for this debate. It was well laid out. I don't know if he was giving favoritism to the woman, but that's another story. Overall, to you guys, what's your views and thoughts about this debate between the Pakistani lady and Andrew Wilson? Andrew Wilson, in my opinion, yet again has done it again. He has demolished another delusional feminist from Canada. And the sad thing about this woman, I don't think this woman used any form of reference data. She go purely on feelings because in her mind, men in her eyes are purely evil. They do evil things. They do destructive things. And she will never think critically that woman has the same capability. And there's certain scenarios that women have really dropped the ball in regards to raising of children and protecting said children from such evil people, including men. And personally, I mean, if we look for our social media footprint, I mean, you see some pictures, some that, her culture will not really accept personally. But I get it. I understand. You left Pakistan or you were born and raised in Canada for whatever reason, and you never went back to Pakistan. And I can see why you would never go back to those type of countries because they're going to demand of you to be a woman and act and move accordingly. You can get away from that. Yes, she's from Pakistan. Yes, she's definitely from Pakistan. That's an ironic thing. And it reminds me of the other chick, Sadia Khan. I think I'm not sure if she's from Lebanon or Pakistan or some part of Arabia. I think she's another woman, a modern woman as well, And the other woman, not this woman, Sarkar, but Sadia Khan, I think she's a psychologist. So go figure. But this is what happens, gentlemen, when we deal with women like this that's been fully indoctrinated for the Western world. This is the end result. The back and forth, the somewhat disrespect, the sheep shots was expected from her more than Andrew. I mean, when Andrew does his cheap shots, he does direct just to lighten the mood a little bit. Because a lot of these women got they get their ways too much a lot on these debates and panels against men. And I'm glad Andrew's in the building to really shut that down because there should never be no savior or anybody trying to save them so they don't get this work, really. Overall, I think Andrew won the debate, and I think the thing that I find more disappointing but not surprising is regards to the motherly duties that this woman labeled as, toxic, slavery, and that it's hard being a mother. Well, it's hard being a human being on earth, but we live it every day. It's hard being a man, but a man has to get up every day and do what he has to do. So for you as a woman, if it's hard for you to do the basics to carry out femininity, that's on you, sweet. You need to go seek counseling and seek your creator. Real talk. Overall, this was a good debate. What's your thoughts, guys? You think Andrew won this debate, or you give it to more of this woman named Mahleej Sarkari, did she prove her point? If any point was proven, express your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below of this video you made this far. The links to follow me are below in the description. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. You can add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. You could join my Discord servers. You could also follow me on Rumble, CRain23 on Rumble. I have a new video on Rumble right now. Please check it out right now. It's on my Rumble handle. Join my Rumble page. That's the description. The link to join is in there. I'm not sure if I'm going to post in the community tab, but please follow me on Rumble. And last but not least, become a member of the Chaos Rain Show. For many shows, some that's not for the public. But like I said, become a member to find out for yourself. That's it. Thank y'all for watching or listening to today's stream. Until next time, and I mean next time. Let the chaos reign.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. And fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. And fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. And fuck all you hoes.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos
let that chaos reign with,
must reign.